back up together.
Speaking of pit road speed, 500 miles, 55 miles per hour. Pit window with these smaller fuel cells, about 13.5 gallons, 35 to 38 laps. Now, the FedEx racetrack keys. First thing, avoid the big one. We've seen it here time and time again. Oh, by the way, second thing, avoid the big one. And the most important thing, avoid the big one. That's all I can say.
For more information, including
Not much strategy, is there, Larry?
hot spots, log on to foxsports.com, keyword FX. Monday, let's go.
Well, DW, it's a day late. It's Monday, but it doesn't matter. She's still the biggest. She's still the baddest. Talladega, reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time. Let's get this party started.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. But be careful. Hung out to dry, the 6 car is. That's what you call that.
Help's coming from Casey Mears.
Our pole sitter, Elliott Sadler, wanting to lead this first lap, get those 5 points. He will in that 38 car.
Larry, his qualifying speed was so much faster than everyone else's, and he showed that on that first lap. He drove off and just left these guys. They eventually sucked back up to him, but that car is bad fast.
Sadler, Edwards, Busch, Jarrett, Stewart leading the outside lane.
With the carburetor restrictor plate they run here, it took a little over a lap for this field of cars to get up to full speed. Now at over 190 miles per hour.
Point leader Matt Kenseth started last, gained 5 positions on that first lap. Right behind Kevin Harvick. You're with Dale Jarrett, Kurt Busch just ahead, 3rd and 4th, as the speeds build to over 190.
That's 192 miles an hour through this 18-degree bank tri-oval. I got to tell you, the most treacherous part on this track for trying to stay under control is right through this dog leg.
We have a scoring monitor up here that tells us what cars change positions. That time, only 2 of the 43 cars stayed in the same position that they were the lap before.
Tony Stewart with help from Joe Nemechek, trying to forge into the lead.
We're riding with Joe Nemechek here in the 01 Army car. Definitely could use a good run here. Still looking for his first top 10 finish of the year.
Well, the only Ford that's won here in the last 13 races, Larry, has been the car of Dale Jarrett, who won here last year. Chevrolet has won the last 13 races.
Now, Tony Stewart has led a lap in the first 8 races. Check that. Make that now 9 races.
And he's gotten so many more bonus points, and I think he's got 55 bonus points, making 60 now, compared to, I think, Jeff Gordon or somebody that's only got 25.
For leading the most laps.
Usually we have a little fun before the start of the race, and each of us picks a car that we think will win today. Today, we all picked the same car.
It was kind of like our FedEx racetrack keys. We all did the same.
Yep. I won't tell you who, but he's in the lead.
And he started second, and that's 2 big things right there.
Now that's Kevin LePage just in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. wearing the black paint scheme, honoring the memory of his dad and Dale Earnhardt Day this weekend in Mooresville, North Carolina.
But this tells you how the draft works. He started back in 27th position. He's just about to bump into the top 10, up in 14th.
Remember what Junior told us in practice. He wanted a car that could run out front. The team wanted the car set up so it could pull alongside and pass. The team won.
Well, here's what happened to some of the guys, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, some of those guys at the back. They had to high gear in what they liked for the race. They went out late, the wind really picked up. It hurt their qualifying times. So some of those guys had compromised gears in to qualify with, just right for racing, okay for qualifying.
outside line is trying to make another run. Jamie McMurray trying to push Joe Nemechek in that 01 car. 2 by 2 by 2, and then 3 by 3 the rest of the way through the field.
Nemechek cannot clear and come down in front of Stewart. But now McMurray gets a run.
He got a run. He got a run off a 2 over there. He didn't have anywhere to go, but he sure did close fast. Jamie McMurray had a great run here last year when he was driving the 42 car, and here he is today. He needs a great run in that 26 car.
You hear the sounds of the engine. They never waver. Flat out all the way around.
They're starting to make it 4 wide here coming out of the tri-oval.
Oh, it doesn't take long. Everybody says, oh, my car feels good. It's handling all right. I'm going to go where I want to now.
And Kevin LePage is the lone soldier in the 3rd lane. They stream past him on both sides.
And this track is plenty wide enough for 3 wide, 4 wide, but it's so rough. You're running over 190 miles per hour. The car's bouncing and buffeting around. All it takes is one bad move, and you're in trouble. That
center lane is a great lane for picking up positions, but it stalls out, and you got to quickly get in one side or the other once you get near the front.
We'll have a new leader this lap. Will it be Nemechek or McMurray?
Well, I tell you, the way the Roush cars and the Yates cars qualified here, Larry, it doesn't surprise me to see that Ford up there leading the race.
And you know who else it doesn't surprise me to see up there right behind Jamie McMurray? Jeff Gordon in that 24 car. He started back in the 14th position. He's up there wanting to lead. He's won the last 2 spring races here. We're riding with him here.
7 laps complete in the Aaron's 499 on Fox.
Double foul.
I'm tight, guys. Pretty tight, even by myself.
Well, buddy, great job. Took you all of 8 laps. Single foul, 2 back. Foul, 1 back, and then double foul, and then 3 wide back all the way. Foul, 1 back. Okay, you got a crash behind you, Jeff. Crash behind you. On out. He's on out of it.
Plenty of room.
Okay. Hey, if they all hit pit road here, let's stay out. Eddie, lead a lap right here. Get it over with. Spring in the right front. Start working on that right front fender there. Get it beat out. Get you some bare bond and stuff. And whatever you need on that right rear. Just right sides right here. Y'all work on it. Billy, keep us posted. Halfway down the back. Just entering turn 3. You know what to do. Middle 3 and 4.
There looks like about a dozen cars. A lot of them just nowhere to go.
There's David Stremme up against the wall.
There's just so
Watch
many
the
here.
5.
Just so tight right in there. The 99 gets into the 5.
Yes.
Gets into the left rear.
Gets him loose and sends him up the hill in front of everybody.
The 99 had Brian Vickers passing under him.
Under him. It's just too many cars in so little of a space.
But this is what we talked about just a couple of laps ago. Plenty wide enough for 4 or 5 wide, but if somebody just touches someone, this is the results.
Mark took a pretty hard lick there. He got a good hard shot in the door, and then he got another hard shot down at the bottom of the track.
At least 9 cars involved.
And because we're about a third of the way through this run, all the leaders are hitting pit road, Dick Berggren.
And Tony Stewart is on pit road right now. 2 tires. That's all they're going to do. Stewart's out of here already.
Dick, Jeff Gordon saying that he's a little bit tight even by himself in the lead. He also doesn't have a lot of front downforce. 4 tires and a chassis adjustment, Matt.
Junior's already down and away, taking 2 tires now. Jimmy Johnson's crew chief Chad Canals, we are going to go for 4, probably lose a lot of track position. I want to be more safe than sorry and maybe have themselves in a better position later on cycle-wise.
There, I think the 38 only took fuel.
And again, I think, you know, it's at a good point just to take at least fuel, get that fuel cell full of fuel.
Right.
Let's again look and find the initial contact of what happened here. This is watching from the Aaron's car, Hermie Sadler.
Since it's wide back here, it's
Back it down, back it down, back it down.
oh no, right up in
Track is blocked.
Was that, who was that spun way off the bottom of the racetrack, off the apron?
no,
Way behind the accident.
I know one thing, there's a hard lick into the back.
Harvick slowed down, Hermie Sadler did not.
Here they go. That's the 2 down there on the bottom. Here comes the 25.
They're low,
5
they're low.
wide right there. Nowhere to go.
Keep coming, wreck behind you, Caution is out, caution's out.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you wonder why you wreck at Talladega.
Just nowhere for David Strimmy to go, right to the side of Mark Martin in the 6, the 40 car. There you see Casey Kane. Talked about him. Man, 3rd in the points involved.
And I believe the car that locked up the brake and spun up in front of Harvick may have been Bobby Labonte. We'll double check on that. But at least 10 cars are involved in this crash at turn 3. We'll update you in a minute as to who is out of the race and who might get repaired.
Shannon, I'll let you relay that. Got it. All right, buddy, wrecked a lot of good cars right there. So we'll just stay on our game, keep doing the best we can, stay clean, and we'll get that chassis a little better for you.
Well, Shannon, I'll go 2 wide, you know. Like if we're single file, I'll go the outside or the inside. But if we're 2 wide, I'm not going anywhere but in the middle.
Hey, Jeff, you know, one thing Beef just brought up a good point. We were on scuffs. This will be the first time you're on stickers. I don't know if it'll affect the handling or not.
Well, thanks.
And there you see it. Kenny Schrader's car is wrecked.
Now you talk about what they did to the front, but they didn't do a whole lot to the rear as far as bars are concerned.
And Hermie Sadler, you see front end damage from where he got into the back of Harvick. And we're still trying to check and see. Let's have another look and see. I believe it's Bobby Labonte who's down on the apron. Who comes up and spins. Not positive here. Let's watch again from
Casey Kane was down there too.
was that blue car, which I think is Labonte.
Yeah, that is Bobby Labonte.
Yeah,
that was the 43
yeah,
car.
it is.
Yeah, yeah. Looked like to me Kevin Harvick was slowing down and Hermie Sadler wasn't.
At all.
And, you know, going back to Ryan Newman, that has been the tale of his season right there, a victim again.
Well, and when you start in the back, this is what you got to worry about. These guys are in trouble.
First caution flag of the day at lap 9.
Race car, but you know, it looked to me like we made it 5 wide there, and it's way too early in the race to be doing that kind of stuff. But I was just minding my own business, running along in my line. I was following the 26 there, and then we got 4 wide, and I kind of got sucked back a little bit. Nobody wanted to fall in behind me because I was going backwards because of the air and whatnot. So, you know, they made it 5 wide, and there just wasn't quite enough room for that. And you know, getting into turn 3, I thought I had enough room on the bottom side for the 25 and the 99 there, but I didn't think I could go up any further. Otherwise, I would have hit Newman, which, you know, I ended up getting hit in the left rear quarter panel, which knocked me sideways and then up into Newman anyway. So just unfortunate circumstance, and, you know, I'm terribly sorry if everybody wants to put the blame on me, but, you know, it's just one of them deals where you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, not much you can do.
And the sound of sledgehammers is behind us, Mike. They're working on his car to try to get it back out on the racetrack because last year he didn't finish either race here at Talladega.
I think we've made our point. That wreck was not Kyle Busch's fault.
No.
It wasn't anybody's fault.
Casey Kane's car is being worked on, but Kane is awake and alert, but he has been taken to a local hospital for further evaluation. Matt.
Well, Kevin Harvick's team just reminded him there are 3 cars currently in the garage that are ahead of him in the championship standings. Now, Harvick has been on pit road 4 times. They've used this caution to its fullest. Todd Berrier and his team calmly and quietly went to work to try to cosmetically get this car in better shape after the huge rear end job. You can still see they've got a lot of work to do on the right rear corner, but with 1 to go, they're going to work on what they can do the next time they get a caution. But so far, they could have been in a lot worse shape. Harvick feels like he has a little bit of a fender rub, but they are good to go to the next stop.
Let's show you Kevin Harvick's view of what happened in turn 3. That's Kyle Petty just ahead.
Pretty well had this thing missed, I believe. I mean, he gets slowed down. He sees it happening up there.
Second on you, back it down. They're coming down the track.
Pretty good shape right there. Then he gets nailed.
Now, Bobby Labonte got turned. Whoever that car, the black in the back
there
behind Labonte, turned Bobby Labonte around, and he spun up.
Car looks okay. I don't see
damage.
See much damage on it.
And he's still on the lead lap, Bobby Labonte in the 43.
Now, Dick, how about Mark Martin?
Oh, man, this car is an absolute mess, Mike. They are going to have to put a brand new rear end in this automobile. Other rear end's going to have to come out. Mechanics all over the place as we're getting ready for a start.
So the man 4th in points with 12 consecutive top 15 finishes that started in Atlanta last October. That's probably going to come to an end here today.
43 cars started this race. There are now 10 behind the wall or on pit road under repair.
Tell you what, Larry, at this joint, I'd get her fixed and get her back out there.
You might get her top 15. That's exactly right. Now, we do need to mention Kevin Harvick in the 29, just like Bobby Labonte. He's still on the lead lap.
Yeah, I think probably Kevin, I don't think that rear end damage is going to hurt him that much, but that hitting the right front end of the wall, now that could be a problem.
And Steve Burns was telling me that Reed Sorensen, he had made about a dozen trips to pit road in the 41 car. He's actually still on the lead lap as well, making repairs. We
did not list Kirk Shelmerdine or Clint Boyer. Add those 2 drivers to the cars involved. As we're back under green with Joe Nemechek leading Elliott Sadler.
And you know, we talk about all the time here, qualifying for it doesn't hurt. You got draft, you can get to the front pretty easily, but that's the one element that you cannot predict is that big wreck in front of you early in the race when they're all wadded up the way they are.
You know, we talked about Ryan Newman, though. He just came by the start-finish line in 3rd place the lap before that.
Dick Berggren.
With Clint Boyer, his car on jack stands behind us as mechanics work on it. How bad is it? Can you get it back out?
Oh, we can get it back out, but it's going to take a whole lot of work. It ain't going to go very fast, but it's just stupid. You know, way too early to be 4 wide. Saw the 5 car 4 wide, and you know, it's just kid's got to learn. Take up a lot of cars right there. And Jack Daniels Chevrolet was good. I was just trying to stay out of trouble, and you know, just somebody got in behind me, then the back of me and knocked me into Mark Martin. And from there it's history, but it's just too bad. Way too many cars tore up way too early.
Thank you.
And let's update Casey Kane, a correction. Casey had the wind knocked out of him, but he is okay. He's going to be treated and released from the infield care center. Kane is okay.
Tell you what, the Hendrick cars, they're starting to form a little brigade up there. You see Brian Vickers in the 25, Jeff Gordon in the 24 riding with him, and the other teammate, Jimmy Johnson, in the 48. 3 of the 4 Hendrick cars still out there, starting to form a little alliance up there in the top groove, right behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8.
Steve.
Well, Mike, I heard Jeff Gordon under the caution talking to Steve Letarte, his crew chief, and the rest of the team, and he said, guys, he said, I know why we're bump drafting here. It's hard not to, the way these cars are running. Matt.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr., with the help of the 25 of Vickers behind, pushes up to the lead. He loves riding the high line. His car works great either on the bottom or up high, but that's where he normally likes to run, a little higher up off the bottom. The 8 out front again here in Alabama.
Well, Vickers did such a great job here yesterday in the Busch race. I think he had a car that, had he gotten a little help and gotten in the right spot at the end, he could have easily won.
And Mike, you talked about the big crowd here. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. led that lap, every one of them was standing up, waving. Now the Hendrick cars are all at the bottom of the racetrack with Brian Vickers leading them, pushing each other. And remember, Joe Nemechek in the 01 has Hendrick power.
Let's add that David Stremme and Ken Schrader have been released from the infield care center. Dick?
And Martin Truex was standing beside me here in the garage area, Mike, and he heard the crowd roar above the sound of the engines. He looked at me and said, did Junior just take the lead? Yes, he did. Now, on Saturday, talk about the highs and lows of Talladega. On Saturday, this guy rolled into victory lane, the winner. Now, the car's crashed. You get it fixed?
Well, it's pretty tore up. Just hate it for all the guys in the Fast Pro team. They've been working real hard, and we had a really good car just riding around there, you know, trying to log some laps, and I guess some guys got a little impatient, or I'm not sure what happened. I was way up by the wall when it happened, and they just ran into my door. So car's pretty tore up and not a good day.
Mechanics are earning their living today, and then some, Mike.
Mike, just look at this. So, I mean, the 32nd place car, Chad Chaffin, is 10 laps down. You get your car fixed, and you get back out there, you go from 42nd or 43rd, you can move up to the top 30 there, and that's a lot of points at this point of the season.
Only one car has been officially retired. That is the Little Debbie's 21, the Wood Brothers car of Schrader.
So if you can just get it out and run a few laps, Larry, I mean, you're going to gain some spots, and that's what the guys are thinking.
And that's as much as 30 points.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
that's huge.
Time for our first singular crew chief question, virtual crew chief question of the day. Dale Jarrett won last fall. That's the only Ford to break the Chevrolet stranglehold on victory lane here. Will it be a Chevy in victory lane today? You know how to enter. Text the word crew to 191 from your Singular wireless phone, or go to foxsports.com/singular. Each time you play, you're entered to win Jeff Burton's payday at Daytona in July.
I don't think the Dodgers won here, Larry, since about like 1976.
Since Dave Marcus, and I was just about to mention that with when you've got Kurt Busch up there in the 2 car, he's trying to get the lead of this race. Had a great car at Daytona during speed weeks.
Look at the high side. Carl Edwards, he came across the start-finish line just about side by side for 4th, but that high line did not work.
Boy, we've seen this several times this year already. That's Ryan Newman in there just pounding away on his race car. And a lot of that is just frustration and anxiety. Just give me something to beat on.
This would be the 3rd race in a row that Newman has fallen out due to a crash if he can't get that car repaired.
A crash that was not of his making.
Right.
Yeah, he's only had one top 15 finish this year since he finished 3rd in the Daytona 500.
The same thing happened to him last week at Phoenix. He got caught up in that mess with Kyle Petty and Dale Jr.
Kurt Busch goes for the lead on Junior. Turn 2. Brian Vickers is Junior's shadow. Vickers in the 25, followed by Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson.
Now, do you believe that Jamie McMurray, driving Kurt's old car, would be willing to help Kurt today.
I think Jamie's willing to help anyone that can help him.
Just help myself, right? I don't care who it is.
You know this place, Darrell. Your friends are where you find them.
Yeah.
Matt.
Moments ago, Earl Barbin, Jimmy Johnson's spotter, told him, keep in mind, let's go with the Daytona game plan. Just stay on the bottom on the yellow line and be careful of the 0-1 and Nemechek. You were moving around a little bit. He was kind of ducking down, sniffing a little bit. Don't get yourself out of position.
Got to remember, I preach it all the time. The yellow line is your best friend. Why? Because you can't go to the left. So all you got to do is protect the right. So you just one less place for somebody to get by you.
And look at that big crash, Darrell. The drivers that were in the bottom lane were not involved. It's an extension of what we used to say on short tracks, but in this case, it's 20 wheels corner better than 4.
That's exactly right.
Now, you want to know how the draft works here is this group here, which is about the top 24, 25 cars that have been jockeying back around. This group here with Tony Raines leading them in the 96 car, if they'll stay lined up, I've been watching the score monitor, they're running that lead pack down, but they've got to stay in line. And this lead pack, they keep mixing it up. It'll go from 24 cars to about 30 cars in the lead pack.
Pretty hard to get away. You can't get away from anybody here. You can get in front of them, but you can't get away from them.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Still 31 cars on the lead lap and 10 in the garage from a big crash on lap 9.
Three wide. Too wide, still outside.
I mean, I can't go anywhere, so I don't see the reason getting all up in the middle of that mess.
10-4, that's smart.
Try to ever draft the move, I know. And short of just rubbing somebody a little bit, I ain't going nowhere, so I might have to stay back here, watch them a little bit.
10-4.
Pit stop's going to be crucial today, fellas. You're going to have to knock them out on pit road. 10-4.
Too wide, you're in the middle. You want it? Oh. Double file all the way back. You in the middle. 3 wide, you in the middle. 2 wide, you in the middle. 3 wide, you in the middle. Still 3 wide, you in the middle. Wide, you in the middle.
Three wide, you in the middle. Three wide, you in the middle. Wide, you in the middle. Double foul behind you. Outside there, double foul behind you. Three wide, you in the middle. Three wide, you in the middle. Three wide, you in the middle. You want it, clear low if you want it.
It's disappointing to have something like that. Holes in this type of racing, holes open up and people take them early on, and I'd say we probably should wait and do that kind of stuff lap 150, not lap 10.
How hard was the hit?
I got hit pretty good, couple ways, couple different directions. Didn't feel too good, that's for sure.
Well, Ken Schrader's car must have gotten hit pretty well as well. He came by and had a couple of words with Casey and told me that he is all done for the day. Schrader in street clothes on his way out of here, Mike.
Thanks to Kirk Shelmerdine, Ken Schrader, and Hermie Sadler's cars have been retired from the event.
Hey.
Now, what's up with Junior? He led a few laps, and now he is drifting.
That doesn't look good. He's just kind of almost like he's trying. Well, I don't know. You know what he might be doing? There's his old buddy back here. Might have fell back there and said, hey, I'll help you get back to the front, dude.
Matt?
Mike, he's trying to settle in now. A number of drivers who are running that bottom line, they have slowly moved up to the middle lane because several drivers like Brian Vickers complaining their car is now tight. And it was slowly, one by one, you could see guys move up to the middle or the high side. And basically, it was Junior's the lead car down in the bottom, so he's trying to tuck himself up in that middle line as well, Steve.
Matt, that's exactly what Jeff Gordon in the 24 said. He said, I can't run on the bottom. I need to be in the middle or on the outside. So that's exactly what he's done.
As they drift to the back, Robbie Gordon, number 7, drafts toward the front. He started 27th, and now Gordon is in the top 10.
Right behind him, Greg Biffle in that 16 car. I will guarantee you that's a car that's just wanting to see a good, solid top 10 finish today.
How about that 17 car? Barrett bouncing his way into first place. He just bounced off of Kurt Busch. Of course, it didn't hurt. Or Jamie McMurray there. He just bounced off of him, sent him a sailing.
You know, Darrell, you were talking about Jamie McMurray in the 26 car. Got to be feeling good about this. I look at those two cars behind him. Casey Mears in the 42. Remember, finished second in the Daytona 500. Been backsliding. And how about Scott Riggs in that 10 car? He missed the Daytona 500. Starting to rebound 2 out of the last 3 races. Top 10 finishes.
You want to see Racer. Here comes Robbie Gordon on the outside as other people try to hold station. Gordon trying to push that Menards number 7 to the front, and he's getting closer every lap.
Closer would be the key word of all this mess right here.
They're getting awfully close.
Well, Robbie Gordon's been doing it on the high side. It's 2.66 miles around this racetrack. He's been running about 3.5 miles a lap getting there.
Trying to sort out this log jam, 3 wide from 3rd on back with 33 laps complete.
Check this one out. Here we go. So the idea is to get your legs really
wide, you in the middle. Be real low if you want it. Double foul, 1 back. Wide, you in the middle. 3 wide, you in the middle. 3 wide, you in the middle. Double foul. The 11 behind you up top. The 20 is on the bottom. Still inside, 11 and 01 in your mirror. Three wide, 3 wide. Two wide. Low if you need it. Clear all around right there. The 20 is in the middle lane behind you. Outside, outside. Clear high behind the 4 if you'd like. The 20's with you.
We'll be at here in 9 laps.
In 9 laps, you're clear all around. 20 in your mirror.
Hey, rolled over right front, tight. Okay, 10-4. 3 wide, you're in the middle. 3 wide, you're in the middle. Double foul there, still double foul. 3 wide behind you. Oh, it's leaking up here, but I can't hardly see on my windshield. Somebody's dropping something big time. 10-4, they've been talking about it. We'll tell them. Foul, double foul, 2 back. Caution's out, caution's out. Roll out of it, let them know there's say debris down the back somewhere. 3 there.
When we get in here, y'all get it beat out and all this stuff, so.
My guess is, Larry, he probably bent that in enough that it just added a lot of camber to that right front, and he's actually used the tire up.
And he was real close to going a lap down. Now he's going to go a lap down here because he's got to come to pit road, but he was running about 2.5, 3 seconds slower than the lead pack.
Got a tire down.
It's almost as if he knew it, because there you heard him before he ever got to the corner. Obviously, he did know it. He was squeezing up out of the throttle, and he did go up and hit the wall.
Yeah, if he'd have been wide open on the throttle and that tire went down here, he'd have been in the wall.
So Harvick gets the tire replaced. The pit's not yet open officially. Of the 4 drivers that qualified last in the order, had the big headwind, and started at the back of the pack, Harvick and Reed Sorensen both involved in the crash on lap 9. Jeff Burton up in the front pack, and Jeff Green running 14th.
It's pretty safe to say it'll be feeding time on pit road, because we were only about 10 laps away from what would have been green flag stops. Again, the smaller fuel cells, you can only run about 35 to 38 laps on fuel.
Well, the drive of the day so far, Matt Kenseth from last to first.
Back in '03, I remember him doing that a lot. You know, they change engines that have a problem. They go to the back, they'd come to the front. They did that a lot, and he's on track to have another 03 season, looks to me like, Larry.
And we saw a lot of cars change just 2 tires on that last stop. Jimmy Johnson, Chad Canals, they changed 4. I've just got to believe we'll probably see a lot of 4-tire stops here since that was almost a full run.
Yeah, and Elliott Sadler, I think I recall, he only took fuel. So, yeah, they're going to need some tires.
Field comes off turn 4, and they'll head for pit road, which will be open this time. We have 30 cars on the lead lap. And none of the lap down cars were on track, so no one eligible for the free pass.
I think one of the reasons the guys couldn't run the bottom is because they needed tires to be able to do that.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Matt Kenseth's average starting position for his wins, Mike, is 22.5. That number could grow today. He has a fabulous car. He has called for just minor air pressure adjustments in the rear tires. He will have an easy out now for the rest of the day. Chad Chaffin had been in front of him. Chaffin out. Steve.
Scott Riggs running in the top 5, Dick, trying to lead a lap for the first time in this 2006 season. No adjustment to that number 10 car for Scott Riggs, Matt.
No tape off the grill for Jimmy Johnson. The concern was tucked up in traffic. The water temperature had climbed to well over 240 degrees, but it was 230 as the 17 goes by. Chassis adjustment to try to free him up. The 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., he takes 4 tires. He's down and away.
And I got to believe 18 positions gained by Michael Waltrip, Derek Finley in the 55 car. You've almost got to believe probably just 2 right side tires. But we did have 2 cars stay out trying to lead a lap on the caution. Scott Wimmer and Greg Biffle. There, I think that's the tale of the tales right there. You see how much quicker the time was on the 55 car.
My brother's caught between a rock and a hard place. He can run good. He knows he can. He runs great at Daytona and Talladega, but he's got to finish the race today to get out of the top 35. Look at him.
You know,
what a big dummy.
I don't know where he rates as a driver, but he is unquestionably the best all-time salesman ever in NASCAR.
By the way, happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah, we got it, buddy. We got it. We got it.
What's inside your MIS NASCAR Nextel Cup ticket?
The 41 comes in behind us.
Right now, how many are behind us?
4, hold on just a minute here.
I'll live with it, Jeff, because you're coming to 1 to go, and we don't want to make the mistake we made at Daytona.
Okay, 10-4.
Be patient when it's still real early. If you got to just get somewhere and ride around safe, we're going to keep getting it better for you.
10-4. It's got that 8 behind us, so got a good pusher there.
The 8, then a few cars back to the 20.
One to go here. Make sure that belt's getting tight.
Candidate, so this is just a guess, but kind of watching on TV, he looks tight also, like he's having a hard time keeping right on the bottom on old tires.
Good job, guys. We get ready to play serious here. You guys will be on it. You're doing good.
We'll see what we got now. Just to give you a heads up also, Michael, on the points deal, the 14 right now is wrecked out in 40th. We need to beat him by, I believe I got 29 spots. So if we can get 11th place, you know what I'm getting at.
Just keep doing the math on that shit. You got the 21 that's back there with us, too.
10-4. I've already got the math figured out. The 21, we got to get another 7 spots. We got to get like 36 on him.
Derek, they announced 21 is out of the race. He's not going to come back out, so coming to the green.
I saw the chart. It said he was only on pit road for 20-some seconds. He did not get in his pit and did a drive-through and had to come around and pit the next time by. That's why he spent so little time on pit road. Let's show you Michael coming down the pit lane.
I think what you'll see, Bobby Labonte is in his pit. Casey Mears is in his. He couldn't get in it.
3, 2, right here. Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
That was my fault. I'll have to come back around.
So Michael did get his fuel and tires. Now he's at the tail end of the lead lap. Line back under green. Matt Kenseth, Scott Riggs, Cole Sutter, Elliott Sadler, Kurt Busch, and Casey Mears.
We were talking about Reed Sorensen, who's running 13th in a 41 car. Larry, he has a lot of damage to the right side of his car, but it's maybe in an area where it obviously isn't hurting. It's all in front of the rear tire.
Well, like Mike pointed out, the nose is good and the spoiler's good.
That's it. Yeah, the right side's caved in, but that's not going to hurt it.
You see Reed Sorensen right there in the 41 car with Jeff Gordon at 24 behind him. Man that led this race quite a bit while ago, Jamie McMurray in the 26. Right in front of him is Robbie Gordon in the 7. Just slides up in front of Sorensen.
That's what happened. See, the 7 stood up in front of 41. Here comes the 24 and the 8. They got to go eat. One's got to go high, one's got to go low because they had a run. Fortunately, they had
no help behind you. 20's moved up top, too.
Behind Gordon come the 11, Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart, Hamlin's teammate. Boy, second place, Riggs just got shuffled. Sadler goes by and Busch.
But he's got a lot of help behind him. You see Casey Mears in that 42 and that 2 Hendrick cars, Johnson and Vickers right behind him pushing.
The thing I'm a little puzzled about, though, is this is the lead group. Dale Jr. just seems to not be able to get up to speed. And I don't know if that's by design or if he's having some car issue.
Well, I look at him, Darrell, and I look at Tony Stewart in the 20, the Home Depot car back there, and I just get a feeling they're doing a little bit of big picture racing here early in this race. As we mentioned, a lot of guys at the top of the points like Casey Kane, Mark Martin having problems could be a good point save for this group.
Yeah, it's so not typical of Dale Jr. though, and Tony. They want to be up front where it's safe, not back here where you might get caught up in something.
Stewart got left behind in that run down to turn 1. You know, Dale Jr., Hamlin, and Stewart were nose to tail, and then a gap developed of about 10 car lengths. Now Stewart's starting to close back up on Hamlin, but that car's not drafting up tightly as you might expect. It could be by design. Yeah. But it's just not tucked up right up under the
It's just hard for me to believe at the end of the day that Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. won't be there at the front.
Oh, I totally agree with you. They're running different kind of races than they normally run here.
And the natural tendency here when the pack strings out is to say, look at a car and go, oh, what's wrong? But the wind will pull them all back together again.
It's like fishing. Cast out, reel in. Just hope your line don't break.
In this kind of situation, you have the spotters on the roof and spotters talking to other drivers' spotters, but a lot of the communication goes on from right here by the driver, talking, if you will, to the driver ahead or the driver behind.
All the way back.
With his hands, as Darrell Waltrip showed us in the Richard Petty driving experience car.
Drivers, we have hand signals. When you're behind somebody and he wants you to stay behind him, he'll put his hand up. Stay right there, stay. Then when he gets ready to go, he'll do this, come on. When he wants you to stay in line, single file, let's just ride. Let's don't try to do anything. You'll do this, tell him to stay in line. You'll do that to tell him to hold. Hold what you got. Let's stay right here and let's stay in line. Then when you get ready to go, you'll give him a signal. Come on, let's go. Let's go this way or let's go that way. So the driver is constantly making signals with his hands par to the guys that.
Foul, double foul, 2 back. Double foul, single foul, 1 behind you, that's 3 wide. Foul. Too wide. Still inside. That's the 20 in your mirror. About 2 car lengths back. Just 1 inside.
Last year, second in points on the final day of the season, and nothing but trouble in 2006.
Yeah, come in here 21st in points. Remember, a year ago at this time, he was 3rd, and he'll backslide from there.
Coach Gibbs told me several years ago when he first got in this business, he said, you know, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Roger Penske has told me that. This is the most unpredictable sport I've ever been a part of. Coach Gibbs said, you can put a team on the field, 11 guys, you know whether we're going to win or not, because you know what kind of people you got. He said, here, potluck. Drop the green flag and hope.
I'll tell you what, Casey Mears leading this race right now. This is the first laps he's led in 2006, even though he finished 2nd in the Daytona 500.
17th lead change of the day.
But he's been doing, you know, he hadn't had a lot of great runs since the early in the season, but he's been able to stay in the top 10 in points. And this is a good point day, but hello.
Boy, the 38 car, Elliott Sadler, our pole sitter, tried to slide down in front of Scott Riggs, but Matt Yoakum, he's caught in the middle now.
Talking about spotters up on top of the spotter stand. Now his spotter, Brett Griffin, told him, make a mental note. Turn 3 is the only place that I see that they're really gaining on you. So you may want to try to protect yourself a little more coming down that long backstretch in that big sweeping turn 3.
Thanks, Matt. Or Casey Mears. We were talking about him as the leader just a lap ago. And now he's back in the middle tail of this pack on the outside lane. You get shuffled here, you can drop like a rock.
Yeah, you just make one. You don't even make a move. No, other people make a move and you didn't react to it. But the spotters, that's the other part of why you're so worn out here at the end of the day. They never get out of your ear. They are constantly telling you what's going on all around you.
And again, we don't know. Did Casey Mears want to lead a lap and then drop back and get out of the eye of the storm? That's possible too.
Yeah, he went from 1st to 14th in a distance of about 500 yards.
Right. Robbie Gordon helping Jeff Gordon, no relation, down on the bottom, push forward toward the lead. And we talked about Mears. Look at where he's been the last 4 laps. 4th, 1st, 1st, 4th. Yeah.
Now he's working his way back towards the front on the high side.
But we're going to talk to Dick about what happened in just 1 second. But if you're a smart driver, you'll do that. Fall back, come back to the front, but you time it out. How many laps did it take me to get from 14th to 1st? What are they saying, Dick?
Well, what they're saying, Darrell, is that Casey was told by his spotter that the 38, Elliott Sadler, was coming. He wanted to get out of the way, didn't want to cause an incident, and the instant he got out of the way, boom, they all freight trained him.
Well, that's why we talk, you cannot lift. If he happened to squeeze up a little bit to make room for the 38, you'll go back to 14th.
Right. In 4 laps. 4th, 1st, 1st, 14th. If you owned that stock, you'd fire your broker. Greg Biffle has retired from the Aaron's 499.
file. Oh, double file, 2 back. All right on your deck lid. 4 back.
Doug, take a look at the temps for me.
File there. Still double file all the way back.
90 all 220.
Clear all around, double file behind you. Behind you about half a car. Side, side. All around, double file all the way back. Double file behind you. One back and then double file. File 1 back, 2 back, double file all the way. File behind you. Double file behind you. Double file behind you.
Think you're driving any better, bud?
Man, still tight.
Was breaking out right now, June, the 7 car, 2 car lengths back. He's coming to help you. Seven car, your back bumper. just inside. Just inside. That's a 0-1 in your mirror. 0-1's up top with you. He has the 7 with him. 3 wide. You've got the best push. 2 wide. Just inside. Inside, we lost the 7. You still have help up top.
Got help the 42. Still 2 inside. Still 2 inside. 1 inside. Just the 41 in the middle, 1 inside. The 1 inside.
The wheel you can do, the faster you'll go.
Now we're starting to see a little deal making because we're about halfway through this run. There you see one of the members from Kurt Busch's, the 2 cars crew, talking to Robbie Reiser, Matt Kenseth's crew chief. You don't want to pit here by yourself under green because you'll lose the draft.
Junior almost got in the back of Vickers there, or did he?
If he didn't get into him, Vickers thinks he did because it turned him sideways right through the trial. And I want to point out something. You can go to another guy's pit box and make a deal. You went there as a friend. When you go there hostile, that's when you have an issue.
Well, let's see if there was bump draft here coming out of the tri-oval. Watch the black number 8.
I think he just slides up there and touches him just ever so slightly.
My mind's checking up a little bit.
Maybe no contact, but gosh. Close call between Denny Hamlin and Jeff Green in the 66 here.
This has happened so often here. You squeeze the guy on the outside, just don't give him enough room. Don't really know he's there, or if you do know he's there, you don't care. Then you see the hand come out the window from Jeff Green. Sorry, dude. I'll let you go by on the outside next corner.
Yeah, Green was trying to stay in the tire tracks of the car ahead.
But sometimes, Mike, when a car runs up behind you, like it'll just suck you over to him, and you don't mean to do it.
And Darrell, we talked during the Busch race, that tri-oval area, especially the exits, one of the most treacherous parts of this racetrack.
Hang on, Sloopy, because they get a little slideways coming through there.
4 wide into turn 1, and they're going to make it. Steve?
Mike, Jeff Gordon was just coaching Brian Vickers from his race car. You talked about how Jeff was using those rear view mirrors to look behind him. He just said, tell Brian, don't worry about Junior on the outside. He needs to worry about Junior making a move to the inside. Tell him not to worry about the high side. Matt?
The pack entering turns 3 and 4, and that's where Jimmy Johnson just told his team he feels like his car is pushing at that end of the racetrack due more to the wind.
Well, he needs to nose down a little bit more. About the only thing he can do there is maybe a little air out of the front tires, or maybe a little tape, some kind of an adjustment to get the nose down, because it's flying the nose getting in the corner.
There were about 13 or 14 laps from what would be green flag pit stops in that earlier long run. This is about the times a lot of the guys could not keep their cars on the bottom because they were shoving the front tires.
And remember, the cars, we adjust them diagonally, left to right front to right left front to left rear. A little wedge down, a little screw down on the right rear could cock that nose down on the left front and help that situation.
Jeff Gordon on point. Dale Jr. right behind him. They are the only 2 drivers who have won more than once in the last 10 restrictor plate races held at Daytona and Talladega. Jeff Gordon 4 out of the last 8, and Dale Jr. 2. They run 1-2 as we complete 65 laps of the Aaron's 499.
Tell you what, I continue to be impressed with that little rookie back there, Reed Sorensen, in that 41 car back there in fourth right now.
With the smaller fuel cells used at these two tracks, pit stops will come more often, and they are coming up.
Still one inside. Just the 10 car inside. Still inside. Three cars now, Junior. 3 cars. How long till we pit, Tony Jr.?
Looking at about 8 laps, 7 now.
Thank you. Inside. 2x2 all the way back now. The best help is up there with you naturally. Still inside. Clear low, clear low. 38 in your mirror. 2 wide behind him. Wide behind you, Junior. 2 wide behind you. .26 and 99 behind you. 26 and 99. 38 is 3 cars back on the bottom. Here we go. We're clear. 26 has help behind him. 24 is by himself. Side by side behind you, Junior. Still side by side. Hell, the grandstands are shaking. 26th in your mirror, then it's 2 by 2 behind him, June.
Tight, center all.
Okay, 10-4. At 26, getting ready to get a big push. He's 2 car lengths back. 1 car length back. Side, outside, outside. Both of you have help.
Right.
Outside, June 99 in your mirror. Still outside. Inside. Inside and outside. Get ready to get a shove here. Your clear high still inside. Still inside, June.
Get next time by. Get next time by.
Right, we'll try to get down.
The left sides.
And you've got to hope somebody else in that group just changes 2 tires, or you'll be out there by your lonesome. Matt.
Elliott Sadler making his way to his pit stop. Elliott does not want any changes. He says, I do not need to be tightened up because if we go 3 wide, that may help bind the motor up. Then I'll have to lift. So no adjustments air pressure wise for the 38. The 31 of Burton is already in and away. Air pressure adjustment for the 31 of Jeff Burton. The 8 of Dale Jr. should pit next time by.
Here comes a big pack onto pit road. About a dozen cars will pit this time.
But Darrell, this has worked out about like you were talking about. Little groups of 8 to 10 cars. That's what keeps them out of trouble. And that's a lot about communication between the crew chiefs and spotters, Steve Burns.
And Larry Mack, his crew chief, Steve Letarte, just said 4 tires. 4 tires for Jeff Gordon in the 24. He should have a clear shot out because Scott Wimmer has not stopped in front of him. Reed Sorensen right behind him on pit road. Matt.
Clean windshield for Dale Earnhardt Jr. already pulled the tear off. His car a little on the tight side. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson is in, already track bar adjusted for the 48 machine as the 24, the 25, the other Hendrick 2 teammates drive by.
Most of the rest of the lead lap cars will come in this time.
You see Tony Stewart, the 20, locking the right front up right there. Carl Edwards in the 99, Kurt Busch in the 2. All these are scheduled green flag stops.
Dick.
And Matt Kenseth is taking his pit stop just behind his teammate, the 99 of Carl Edwards. Kenseth once again has called the adjustments. He watched to the car, waved them off, and he'll take off with his teammate down pit road. They'll be drafting partners.
17, 2 tires.
And I don't know if they got that car full of fuel. A good sign is you'll see fuel run out the overflow out the back. Looks like Jack may have dropped that jack a little quick.
Yeah, I don't know that there's I don't think I'd take 2 right now. Everybody else is taking 4, get 4. That way you're good to go. I'm not sure about that strategy unless they were having an issue.
Scott Wimmer comes to the pit lane. He'll be one of the last of the lead lap cars to pit under this sequence. David Stremme, who was involved in the crash back on lap 10, came out, made 1 lap, went back to the garage, did pick him up about 10 spots on the board.
See Martin Truex Jr., the 1 car, remember, he was involved in that crash on lap 9. They've been trying to get the car back out there, but they've got problems underneath the rear of that car. A lot of smoke.
Coming out of the back like something's leaking, but...
NASCAR's goal.
Come to the stall.
They're black flagging Carl Edwards. We believe it may be a catch can violation.
Let's see.
It's, yeah, it's the overflow can that's hanging out the back of the car. That's what they catch the excess fuel with. He left pit road, obviously with equipment. He's got to come back to pit road.
Still on the car.
This is the kind of mistakes you cannot have under green flag conditions here. There you see the gas men talking about the problem they've encountered.
Now, the catch can man's usually a busy guy on fuel stops. He may have a wedge wrench in one hand, but he has to maintain contact with that can. Some teams have kind of like a force fit for that can so that he doesn't have to hold it too tightly to keep it in position, but this time it got away without him.
Now, at a 2.5-mile racetrack, you would think you could make an extra green flag stop and be just fine. The problem, he's going to end up out there without a drafting partner. He's going to be running about a second half, 2 seconds or better slower than the lead pack.
So Edwards will go from leading this race to the penalty box.
Yeah, probably going to end up coming out in about 29th place.
Now that's our leaders right there. Matt Kenseth in the 17 with J.J. Yaley in the 18 car. It's pretty much noted that those guys went with just 2 tires, and the group behind them is trying to gang up and run them back down.
Well, they're topping off to 99, and now they're putting 4 tires on it. I'm not sure about that strategy.
Leaders in the back straightaway as Edwards comes out.
But again, the problem when he gets out on the racetrack, he's going to have little to no help from any drafting partners.
Well, if he took 2 when he came in, Darrell, I guess if you got to come back in, you might as well get your other 2.
Well, he took 4. That was the whole thing. That's what I'm not quite sure about.
And here comes the leader.
Oh, he's going to have drafting partners
as he's about to go a lap down.
Yeah.
Well, one of the big questions is whether or not Matt Kenseth got all the fuel he should have gotten in his gas tank on that last pit stop. And I asked 3 different people involved in putting fuel in that car, did he get it all? 2 of the 3 said nothing. They didn't want to answer at all. The third said, he got the tank pretty full. Now, you make of that whatever you want, but that's the kind of question that guys on pit road absolutely do not want to answer, and they're the only ones who really have the answer to that question.
If we stay green, we'll know in about 30 laps or so.
Right, because the problem is it's a pretty small tank.
Oh, yeah.
Here and at Daytona.
Yeah, 13 gallons, and you got it pretty full.
So here is Carl Edwards. He is by himself, so his car cannot be as fast as 2 cars drafting along together.
And those 2 cars, they're not going to be 2 cars for very long, because that big pack right there, they are a-coming.
But I tell you what, J.J. Yaley in the 18 car, now that car has won here with Bobby Labonte driving it. He won here from the pole, matter of fact, in 1998. So he's sitting there in pretty good shape, too.
Clint Boyer in the 07, he's returned to the race after being involved in that crash on lap 9.
79 laps complete, 2 caution flags so far. 24 lead changes among 15 different drivers. And our leader is the Nextel Cup point standing leader, Matt Kenseth.
'55 is still with you, June. Through the middle if you need it. No help right there, June. No help right there. Outside, outside. Help is coming. Three wide behind you. Outside.
Single file behind you. Single file 1, then double file.
high, clear high, clear high. 43 in your mirror, 43. All the way back.
Busch has made a penalty stop. He is still a lead lap car, however.
Yeah, that's a lug nut on him, gas can on the 99, catch can on the 99, and we're not sure if the 17 got full of fuel. So those green flag stops create havoc down there for those pit crews.
There's Busch's interval. He's 42 seconds behind the leader, who is lapping this track in 50 seconds. So it's 8 seconds from Busch back to the lead pack.
He's losing about a second and a half a lap, so he'll be in the same situation as Carl Edwards in the 99. Right now, Carl is at the tail end of the lead lap, and then Kurt Busch is still on the lead lap, as you mentioned, in the 2.
What they need to do, though, if they're smart, if Carl can stay in front of this crowd, then the 2 car needs to be the first car 1 lap down. They both win that way.
Both of them be back on the lead lap in business.
NASCAR's goal in going to the small fuel cell at Daytona and Talladega, more green flag pit stops, break up the big packs. How well has it worked? See for yourself.
Well, it worked for about 5 laps. They got strung out, but they just get sucked back together like they are right now.
1 lap ago, Brian Vickers got up and against the wall in the GMAC 25.
High off turn 2 over there. I tell you, you get such a huge push over there when you're in the outside like that. There's not a lot of grip up high.
Sadler 38, Yaley the 18 with Vickers, Gordon, Kenseth. That's your lead pack.
And we talk about the problems Carl Edwards and Kurt Busch had as far as problems and penalties on that pit stop. Some cars that were up at the front of this pack before those green flag stops, they just had problems on pit road in general. In particular, Scott Riggs in the 10, Casey Mears in the 42. Right now, they're almost 16 seconds behind the leader. There you see they have ganged up together there with Scott Wimmer in the 4, Kevin LePage in the 61. They've got to stay in line like that, but right now, even staying in line, that group will never catch the lead pack without a caution.
No, and it just shows all the issues you can have on pit road.
Best they can hope for is to run a quick enough pace to stay on the lead lap when the next caution comes out.
And that's a perfect example is a driver can make up a few hundreds on the track, but a pit crew can lose or gain seconds in the pits.
Brian Vickers, your leader, Sadler second, Gordon third, and in the midst of that pack, Reed Sorensen. Steve?
And Mike, as you guys have documented, he's done a great job battling back from some right side body damage on that big wreck on lap number 8. Now, right after the green flag stopped, Reed told his crew chief, Jimmy Elledge, he said, this car doesn't like clean air.
Trouble. Earnhardt Jr. is around, slid up the racetrack into another car. And Tony Stewart just catches him with the right nose.
I don't think it hurt either car. Junior didn't hit anything. He got in the same situation that caused that first wreck. Had a car down under him. The car kept coming up. Junior didn't have anywhere to go.
Third caution comes out on lap 88, and he's in the grass that's wet from yesterday's rain.
Tony just kissed him. I mean, I don't think it did any damage at all.
Probably more to Tony's nose than to Junior's car.
I think he's going to luck out. We're going to have 4 flat tires.
See, Darrell, they're 3 wide
yeah,
here,
you go
4
down
wide.
Here. See Michael go down on the bottom, and Junior's 4 wide again, and he gets loose, and he just can't hang on to it.
Carl Edwards in the 99 on the outside of him.
Boy, and that Tony, basically, I believe Tony probably saved him because he would have probably backed up there and hit the fence again. Now, here you go. He's going to go through this little hole right here, but there's another car over on the other side over there, making it 4 wide, getting down in here, and it just gets him a little loose. Can't hang on to her.
See his car walk up the racetrack just ever so slightly and get loose.
Let's watch as Stewart comes in. Nope. All right, Junior's in. Matt's there.
Mike, they've already changed the right side tires. Now they're going to work on that left front valence area. Marty Odie has already beat it out pretty well with a hammer. Just slight cosmetic damage, but boy, it sure could have been a lot worse. Remember, this is really nothing for this team. When they won here a couple years ago, they pitted 13 times before they finally got it right, and then he went to victory lane that day.
This caution may have been bad luck for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart, but the caution was just right for Carl Edwards. Gets the free pass. Kurt Busch stayed on the lead lap. It's where Scott Riggs, Scott Wimmer, Kevin LePage, Casey Mears, they needed that caution as well.
Steve?
Mike, Jeff Gordon saying that his entries are good, but he's a little tight in 3 and 4 because of the wind. So they're going to add just a little bit of air to the right rear of that 24 car. They discussed 2 tires, but they will change 4, Dick.
Well, Tony Stewart is in the pit. He has definitely got some right front damage. Crew Chief Greg Zimpanelli has told the crew, take your time, don't rush, get it right. That is most important. The reminder, Matty just gave it to you back in 2003, that the 8 car with Junior at the wheel won with a badly damaged nose. Stewart's car. A lot of people thought he was going to win, and they're working on his nose too. Who knows? It might even be faster after all this.
Seems like a number of guys are complaining about entry into turn 3. We heard Jimmy Johnson say that. We heard Jeff Gordon say that. We've seen 2 wrecks over there, basically where guys are going in and the cars won't turn, and then they get pushy loose and get in somebody.
And I think one of our guys reported that a lot of the drivers were complaining about the wind. I've been watching that American flag down in turn 4. Definitely there is a crosswind there as well.
Must be affecting the cars a lot, particularly in traffic.
So Dale Jr. in the midst of cars entering turn 3, 4 wide, goes for a spin. Light contact from Tony Stewart. 3rd caution.
Turn 3. Turn 4.
Let's get the tire on. Tires on. Just hang tight and they can deal with it here a little bit. Let's go. Slide forward just a little bit. Come forward just a little bit, Dale Jr. Go forward. Forward. All right, go. Might want to pull the right rear quarter panel because I ran into somebody on that run, and that might have been why the tire, if the tire got cut down, that might be why. So I ran into somebody real hard with the right rear.
Yeah, haul ass around here, Dale Jr. We'll pit again. We're in good shape, Tony Jr.
Yeah, we'll get caught up here and come back down pit road. I want to fix it.
just don't look right. Will come this time. Pace car is just in the middle of 1 and 2. 3900, June 3900. 29 will not be there. 29 will not be there.
The nose, when it comes down the bank, it rolls the nose underneath it, okay? So you got to hit the front of the nose and kick it back out. It's rolled under. That's why it's against the tire. Get it where he can do a green flag pit stop.
You are watching the Aaron's 499 from the Talladega Superspeedway on NASCAR In-Car. Only available on digital cable.
Turn to the left.
Pace car.
All right, get the hammers out. Go. You're on 1 to go, so just be careful going off pit road and go.
Staying out.
On that left front corner, the valence area, it was pushed in about 2.5, 3 inches. They have pulled that back out. Now they were just tweaking it on that left front corner. Meanwhile, the Chevrolet of Jimmy Johnson, he was in. They made a chassis adjustment. The car's still too tight, and DW is talking about that wind down in 3 and 4. Jimmy has said it feels like it is picked up. Jimmy's teammate, the 25 of Brian Vickers, he brushed the wall in turn 2 when the 17, Brian told his team, backed him up a little bit, so he bounced off the wall. They fixed that cosmetic damage. Now to Dick.
After Matt Kenseth had pitted for 4 tires and fuel, he had to repit again to be sure all the lug nuts were tight. The way he parked the car was partially on the air hose, and they weren't absolutely positive that they had all the lugs tight. So for safety's sake, he came back in again, but that certainly cost him positions on the racetrack.
Thanks to getting set for the restart as we get close to halfway. And here is the number 9, the Evernham Dodge Dealers Dodge. Casey Kane done for the day. Hermie Sadler replaces Kane as a relief driver. Kane is okay. Talked to us earlier. Going to sit the rest of this one out, though. Well, Fox tracks the 3 leaders and show you as they come up to speed. Takes a full lap and more to get to full speed here.
Yeah, it seems like the 17 is uncharacteristically having trouble in the pits today. Miscommunication, had to come back in again. Not a normal day for them in the pits.
Probably need to include him. I think that caution was pretty timely because we're not sure if he was full of fuel.
Right.
Give a call to Rodney Childers. Scott Riggs is crew chief of the 10. Remember, he was in that group that was losing a lot of ground. They elected to go with 2 tires. He's now sitting there on this restart in 5th position.
Track position. Jeff Gordon at pace car speed leading them around. I think that's Kyle Petty on the inside, who is the only car 1 lap down. Kevin Harvick is 3 laps back, and everyone else who's still running 30 or more laps behind. Out of the race, Biffle, Shelmerdine, Schrader, and Hermie Sadler's own car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. will restart in 24th. Tony Stewart will restart in the 20 car in 23rd, both involved in that last caution.
I'm thinking they're both just real happy to be restarting anywhere right now after that little deal.
We're back under green. Moving through 150 miles an hour, turn 2.
Again, with this carburetor restrictor plate under the carburetor, cuts the horsepower basically in half. It takes almost a good 3/4 of a lap to a full lap to get up to full speed.
And you'll run the thing in 3rd gear almost all the way to the back straightaway before you pull it back into high gear, just trying to pick up as much speed as possible.
not even halfway, and we've had 30 lead changes. Now, the most lead changes we've had this year was 32 in the Daytona 500, so I think we're going to well surpass that record today for 2006.
17 different drivers have led this race.
See our pole sitter, Elliott Sadler, in that 38 car, trying to get a run on the high side. Around Brian Vickers in the 25. We're riding with our leader, Jeff Gordon, in the 24.
Well, he just, Elliott just shot to the outside. I thought he was really maybe going to go backwards, but I think he's going to get a little help here, and he might be all right. He got such a run on Vickers there through the dog leg here that he could go to the outside, and now he's going to go for the lead.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 jumps up in front of him. He's going to let Elliott Sadler in the 38 push him through 3 and 4.
Now, there are many reasons why it's good to have teammates, and they're going to come up on Mark Martin's car. We'll show you another one. He's got Greg Biffle's hood. Mark's was not usable. Biffle's out of the race with engine trouble, so they took Biffle's hood, put it on Mark's car, and away he goes. And a lot of tape.
And the amazing thing right now, we got Mark Martin in the 6, Ryan Newman in the 12, the 9 car with Hermie Sadler. They are all out there on the same lap, 80 laps down, racing for position.
Are you sure that's not the 16? He just left the 1 off, got torn off? Oh, I guess it's the 6.
Now, NASCAR will give all these teams one opportunity to put their car back out there, but it has to maintain minimum speed. They come up with a minimum speed. They'll be clocking the cars, making sure they can run around here safely.
Jeff Gordon has now led 3 times as many laps as in the first 8 races of this season.
Well, we know when he comes to Daytona and Talladega, they got a great car. And we know when he goes to Martinsville, he's got a great car, Bristol included. So those are 4 racetracks that he has a really good chance of winning at all the time.
With 26 Talladega starts, he has led a total of 640 laps here. That's over 3 complete races. See McMurray in the 26 car moving to the high side of Scott Riggs in the 10. He's got a little bit of a push from Jeff Burton in the 31 for a moment. Burton moves back behind Riggs.
Here in the middle, 3 wide.
And J.J. Ailey on the bottom, 18.
I tell you what, that 26 car, when you can do what he just did there with no help from behind you and maintain, you're pretty strong.
Yeah, but you know, he seems to run really good on new tires, and I noticed the car gets a little squirrely with him later into a run, so he's got his hands full. It's real good on the new tires. Seems to be able to run up front, but he's a little bit loose, I think, on the when the tires wear down.
Now he's getting the push from the man that drove this race car last year, Kurt Busch, in that 2 car.
Now, they worked really well together early in the race. Haven't seen them hooked up together here until just now.
Strange bedfellows. Kurt Busch left the ride that Jamie McMurray is driving to go to Roger Penske and the number 2. Jack Roush responded by changing the car number from 97 to 26, a number he had previously used with other drivers. But now Busch had a lug nut problem, had to make another stop after his green flag stop in the pits, but stayed on the lead lap when the caution came out. He was right back with the pack, and here he is challenging for top 5.
Well, stranger yet, the 42 car is McMurray's old car. So, I mean, you got those guys working together, even though they're in totally different circumstances.
And right alongside them, Jeff Burton, former teammate of Kurt Busch. He was with Roush Racing for many years.
Oh, and by the way, the car that Casey Mears drove last year is right behind him, the 41 car.
Yeah.
There you see Reed Sorensen in the 41 car now. There comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car. He's running back toward the top 10 after a lot of repairs to that thing on the last caution.
Well, Larry, sometimes when you work on them here at the track during the race, you just seem to be able to make them run better.
It's kind of what I've seen in the past.
Jeff Gordon leads. We've crossed halfway in the Aaron's 499 on Fox.
Clear by 2. Anywhere you want. Car behind you now. 20 car. File behind you.
Congratulations to Greg Biffle on a terrific 2005 season. Here's to an even better 2006 Subway.
Brown, single file behind you by 1. Still outside. 20 and 7 behind you. Got help coming. Outside. 3 wide behind you. 3 wide directly behind you. 2 by 2 all the way back now. That's the 99 in your mirror now. 99 outside, still covered up. With a push right here.
Choose your own views and replays. Listen to the teams. Get scoring, points, updates, and more, all in real time as you.
Still outside. Another one inside. Clear low, clear low. Still outside, June.
Daytona, Talladega kind of race. They've been back in there. They've run over each other. Not what I would say typical for them.
Watch Stewart under attack from Casey Mears in the Texaco car here.
Oh, that was. I bet you'll see a hand signal here in a second. What do you think?
Probably. May not see it here, but you'll see it when he can gather it back up.
May not have time right now. I'm a little busy right now.
I'll tell you what, give a call to that orange 31 car right there, Jeff Burton. He's about the only Childress car carrying the banner. Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer both involved in that crash on lap 9. Burton's up there in the top 10 in the 31 car.
After starting 40th. Matt?
Junior trying to gather it back up into that earlier spin, trying for his first plate win since fall 2004 right here. Now, the only thing Junior said, Mike, on the radio is the car is a little darty. He's been working more of the middle to the bottom. on this green flag run, but he hasn't said anything else about the race car.
Well, you know, Matt, that Darty is kind of what got him in trouble going into 3 over there. The thing kind of started doing a little dee-dah-do with him, and that's what got him in trouble. I think that's maybe an issue that he's still got.
Tell you what, right in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car, if you look up there in front of him, how about Scott Wimmer in that 4 car sitting here running in the top 20? A lot of effort put into their speedway program after missing the Daytona 500. Here he's still on the lead lap, right up there in the lead pack.
And Larry, I was watching the 8 car in the camera there, and the thing is, it's kind of dipping and diving with him, and it's causing him to really juke on the wheel quite a bit.
Back to Matt.
Darrell, he just came on the radio and said this setup just is not any good. Now he's trying to work the high line around the 66 of Jeff Green. Looks like problems may be continuing for driver 8.
And again, remember in practice, he told us he wanted the car set up to lead. And the team did what they felt best so that car could pull out and pass, but not working out quite that way.
Well, and then getting spun out and spinning out and going down across the apron and everything, you knock the toe out and mess the toe up on these cars, they drive miserably once that happens. We don't run a lot of toe here, so if you knock it out or knock it in, then you got your hands full.
What an up and down day for Kurt Busch and Carl Edwards. Going a lap down, Edwards got the free pass, fought his way back up into the top 10. There he is, presently 7th in the Office Depot Ford. And there's the 2 of Busch. Similar circumstance, had to replace a lug nut and make an extra stop, but stayed on the lead lap, cycled around when the caution came out. Now he's fighting up there for the lead.
But how about Matt Kenseth in the 17 car? He had to make an extra stop on that last caution to double check lug nuts. Here he's up there battling for the lead.
Well, there they all 3 are. 17, 2, and 99 are the ones that we talked about having trouble. They're back there going again. That 02 car's been pretty steady today, though. He's been right up there near the front, other when he had that problem.
As Jeff Burton forges into 3rd place, here's our next singular virtual crew chief question. Can a driver win today without a teammate? Is peanut butter any good without jelly?
You know, we've seen a lot of teams be able to win here. I think here a teammate is someone that can help you.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to be from the same organization.
Remember our word from a year ago, co-opetition.
Right.
That's when the competition works together for the betterment of someone.
There's a driver without a teammate, Robbie Gordon, single car team. Robbie owns his own team, that number 7.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see him work with that 8 car that we're riding with here, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Remember, Robbie Gordon runs the DEI engines. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has lost his teammate, Mark Truex Jr., who's still making repairs on pit road. Could see these 2 cars stay hooked up.
Yeah, I think Robbie feels like a part of that family. Remember last week at Phoenix when he asked him, did they need any tires when he fell out of the race? So they work pretty closely together.
Remember a game he used to play? Oh, everybody drove around this tire tread, and caution has come out. 1 car is down on the apron in turn 2. Likely the car that lost that tread, and that's Chad Chaffin.
One of the cars that was involved in that wreck back on lap 9.
Well, let's see if it was him or who was the rubber band man right here. Oh, that's way out in front of Chaffin.
See Burton in the 31. Lead pack just kind of splitting. It looks like possibly McMurray in the 26 didn't miss it.
Oh, yeah, he nailed it.
4th caution of the day.
That's a pretty flimsy piece of rubber there that comes off of those tires.
I guess the big question remains, where did it come from? And did it do any damage to the front valence on McMurray's car?
It's got it done. I'm sure it's probably did a little bit of damage. It's flimsy, but it's got all those belts in it.
It's been about 20 laps since all the leaders were on pit road. I'd say feeding time will be busy because this actually will put them within 1 stop of making it to the end of this 188 lap race.
Chaffin was down on the apron coming out of the pits to where he will return as we run this 4th caution flag of the day. Remember a game in grade school called telephone? Kids all sit in a circle and like, I'd tell you something, you'd tell Larry, and by the time it got back around to me, it was a whole different story. That's kind of what happened to Robbie Gordon the other evening. He was riding through the infield in his golf cart and was having a bit of fun jumping the berms. And the fun police decided that was enough, and they asked Robbie if he'd take a ride back with them to the coach lot and come get his golf cart in the morning. And that's what happened. Trouble was, by the next day, the story had been blown all out of proportion.
There's our answer to our question right there, Mike. That one, and looking back here on Reed Sorensen, both those cars got damaged from apparently that piece of rubber.
And they'll have to fix that because that'll kill those race cars.
Yeah, I heard about Robbie's little excursion there, a little adventure, and it was, of course, by the time I heard about it, it was a lot worse than you explained.
Oh, by the time you heard about it, I think it was a felony.
Yeah, he was led away in handcuffs and all this. And
it was a big story.
None of that happened.
There's a telephone, telegraph, the garage area.
I thought when I was in school we called that gossip. Now, I don't know.
Well, it was. Everybody called it something different, but yep.
I'd say all of our lead lap cars, all 28 of them will be on pit road. We may see one or two stay out to try to get those 5 points for leading, but trust me, when this caution's over, they will all be there. Quickie yellow, which means everyone can pit, even the cars that are a lap down.
Dick.
And Carl Edwards pits in the 6th position. Remember the last time he pitted, he carried a piece of equipment with him. They are going to make very sure there are no mistakes because Wally Brown, the crew chief, has just told them to make it error-free. Steve.
Dick, Jeff Gordon trying to win this race for the 3rd time in a row, tying the great David Pearson, 4 tires. He said he's just a little bit tight when he's out front. Air pressure adjustment, Matt.
Jimmy Johnson slid into his box. He's going to have a bad angle possibly for his exit. Very close to the wall. A number of extra pumps for Anderson. He finally is away. Meanwhile, the 25, no changes for Brian Vickers trying to score his first Nextel Cup Series win here.
Jeff Gordon gets off pit road first. Jeff Burton right there with him, picking up a couple of spots.
Looks like possibly Michael Waltrip in the 55. I'm going to assume he found his pit box this time.
I hope he stopped this
time. But I got to believe it was just 2 tires.
Yeah, 34 seconds on pit road.
Looks a little more reasonable.
Much more.
And, oh, by the way, Denny Hamlin 11 car, they did decide to stay out for 1 more lap and lead a lap, get 5 bonus points.
Here's that race off pit road.
You see Elliott Sadler right there. What makes him so good getting off pit road? Remember, he sat on the pole. He gets first pit selection. He's in that very end pit. Just has to move a few feet to be in the thick of the battle of the race off.
Now the damaged race cars are under repair. There's Reed Sorensen and Jamie McMurray trying to smooth out those front valences.
Sorensen has got damage on the right side, so he's got a little damage on the left front now.
Denny Hamlin becomes the 18th different leader of the Aaron's 499 on Fox.
Who had a flat?
The 34 car. You guys were just getting ready to lap them, and it came off right there in front of you.
going to be, Clay? Should just be one more lap here. Should be getting to one to go. And we're giving one to go this time by.
Comes close. The Fat Max Extreme from Stanley.
If any of those guys pit, you pit with them.
Negative, nobody came.
Speedster is Darrell Waltrip, and his victim is Jeff Hammond. Let's go ride and drive.
All right, Jeff's going to come out in the pace car. He's going to be doing 55 miles an hour. I'm coming in my race car. I want you to look at the...
Looks like just one lap car restarting ahead of you, the 6. Coming to the green.
Our Texas Instruments DLP Ultimate Picture Cam in HD TV giving you this. You see where the start finish line is here at Talladega, not up in the middle of the tri-oval like at Daytona.
Makes it more exciting.
Oftentimes it changes the outcome.
Can.
Green flag, Jeff Gordon, Elliott Sadler, Jeff Burton, Brian Vickers, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth.
I might add Paz.
Kyle Petty in the 45 car got the free pass, so we're at 29 cars on the lead lap with 74 laps to go. What I do see, though, 3 Hendrick cars up there in the top 5, Gordon, Vickers, and Johnson.
I've been impressed with the Hendrick organization this weekend, Saturday and today. Saturday in the Busch race, Brian Vickers and Kyle Busch ran together the whole race, stayed together, helped each other.
Well, we're about to be 1, 2, 3. Brian Vickers dropped to the bottom down the backstretch in the 25. His teammate Jimmy Johnson in the 48 followed in his footsteps. We come around this time, they very well could be running 1, 2, 3.
And remember, they can talk to each other. They can talk to each other on their radios. Teams that have multi-cars can talk to each other.
Yeah, they have to adjust the volume knob a little to do that. Why don't you adjust your volume knob on that surround sound and see what 190 miles an hour feels like? Just crank it on up. an email from somebody saying, why do you have to have that graphic to crank it down? As Jeff Burton goes for the lead on the outside, and they split Elliott Sadler. Gordon side by side. Of course, that fella must be listening on the old 6x9 speaker in front of his little round tube type set. It's because we don't want folks to blow out the speakers and their surround sound when we get back up on the wheel.
Riding with Jeff Burton here in the 31 car, you could see on that camera a lot of look like grime and dirt on that rear bumper, possibly maybe getting a little bit of leak in the rear end or something here with 72 laps to go.
I tell you what else we're starting to see a little bit on those rear bumpers is somebody's front bumper.
Like this black one?
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car back up in the top 10.
They're kind of playing around. They've been playing around, but as we always know, it's all fun and games till you get down there at the end of the race.
Pushing yourself into a position to win.
27 cars within less than 2 seconds of each other.
I think Dale Jr. in that 8 car may have made some critical adjustments in this last little round of pit stops.
And on lap 88, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart in the 20 got together, spun over in turn 3 and 4. Both of them fighting their way back. Right now, Tony Stewart in the 20 back in the 15th position.
Well, Junior's got Lady Luck riding on his shoulder. Hard to believe you could spin in turn 3 at Talladega and come back not that many laps later, running in the top 10, top 5, that is. Stewart's had an up and down day. He said on the radio earlier that he backed out of harm's way. There were 2 cars he was quite concerned about how they were running the racetrack, and Stewart just kind of backpedaled and let them go at it for a while.
You'll do that if you're smart, and Tony is smart. I tell you, the old 38 car, now he made a power move there just a minute ago to get to the lead. Now he's hanging right there fighting with these guys, Matt.
That car has been great all day. In fact, Tommy Baldwin has not made a change on that car their last 3 stops. Elliott Sadler told his team, I'm trying different lines. I'm trying the bottom like I am right now behind the 24. He's trying the middle and the high line, trying to see what works best for his race car, thinking ahead, being proactive to where he needs to have himself, what position when we get down to 5 or 6 laps to go.
And you saw that he kind of fell off the back end there of the 24 and then got a great run down the back just to see what he could do when he got to turn 3.
I feel for Jeff Burton, Darrell. That car won't run in front of a pack. Sucks up real well, gets right up, drafts up right up to the front. But he got in front of those cars, couldn't maintain pace, and drifts back into the pack.
Look how high these guys are starting to run through this tri-oval, though, protecting that outside. The tri-oval is the most treacherous part on this racetrack. Think about Tony's car on Saturday. Flipped over like a leaf. Just looked like a feather rolling through there. That's how light you feel coming out of the tri-oval.
Tell you what, though, Jeff Burton, the 31, he's not had a lot of friends today pushing him.
Well, it could be, Larry, we keep hearing about somebody losing a little fluid. And it could be him, and nobody wants to run behind him.
Got Nemechek behind him now. Junior drops to the middle. And there is the 11 of Hamlin in the middle of that part of the group. Junior in the middle up front. Sweeps to the high side. And the fans come back to their feet as he looks for the lead. 3 wide for second place. Jimmy Johnson squirts through.
Boy, Larry, they helped that 8 car that last time in.
Yes, they have.
It was diving all over the place. It looks like they've gotten it much better. Could have just been an air pressure adjustment.
But Junior had no better luck than Jeff Burton trying to bring a group to the front on the outside. Now right underneath Junior in the middle, the 25 of Brian Vickers. Matt's in his pit.
And Vickers, Mike, he's being proactive as well, trying to score his first Nextel Cup Series win right there at the front of that pack as he dives on the inside. Told his spotter, remind me, Chucky, later in the race, my car works best higher up the racetrack. Right now he's on the bottom side by side with the 38.
But Darrell, it's like you said earlier in the race about Jeff Gordon. You've got to make mental notes of everything in this part of the race where you can use it at the end.
Yeah, that's right. And of course you got to remind the spotter and everybody else. Remind me, because man, you get busy and you forget.
18 different leaders. Jeff Gordon has led the most laps. The last race in which he led the most laps was right here at Talladega 1 year ago.
They're coming for me.
20 inside by a fender. One inside, one outside. One inside, one outside. Clear high. Back outside, back outside. One inside, one outside. One inside by a fender, clear low. One outside, one outside. One outside, he's got one with him. One outside. So just the one outside. Still lined up, one outside. One inside, one outside. One inside, one outside.
Inside. In your mirror, 26 in the 7 in your mirror, still inside. Still inside, June, hold your line. Bottom lane has no help right now. Inside, inside. You see that 3 wide in front of you. Staying on the front straightaway, no yellow, no yellow, no yellow. No. Yellow's out, yellow's out, June. We'll get them waved off good.
Clear, the next
settle them down here a little bit.
Need to settle everybody down.
Fifth caution flag, lap 127 for Marlin. Sliding out of the tri-oval across the grass and then down the pavement at the inside of the racetrack.
I'd like to say I don't know what's wrong with this car, but I think you can look at it and tell
The car's a mess.
It has a lot of problems.
Again, he was involved in that crash on lap 9.
I think he had a tire go down, but he could have just lost it.
You'll see this come into view.
Just coming through the trial. Well, like I said, that is man, I can't even express to you how your car feels right there by yourself or in traffic. It's just light.
Carl Edwards in the 99, Dale Jr. in the 8. Junior pointing, rubbing.
That's all happening a little over 190,
yeah.
Oh, by the way.
And that's just casual contact.
Now watch Elliott Sadler, 4th place right here behind McMurray. Drop to the bottom and jump to 3rd. 2nd on Kenseth. and to the lead.
He got to run down the hill, turn off into 3, then he got a little bit of a push from that 24 car, Jeff Gordon.
Tell you what, Larry, if he had some help, if he had somebody that was sticking with him like 24 and the 48 do and the 25, he could be bad to deal with.
He does have a teammate in this race, but Dale Jarrett, who won here last October, is running 27th on the lead lap.
Just remember, he sat on the Bud pole by over 1 mile per hour over the second place car of Tony Stewart. We know he's got a fast race car.
Tell you one thing, that baby likes to rock it.
It's been about 16 laps since all these cars were on pit road, but once again, that's getting close to half of a fuel run. I feel pretty sure we're going to see everyone come to pit road. You can't make it from here to the end without stopping again. I think we'll see some dice roll with just 2 tires, but if it was me with 61 laps to go, I'd put 4 on now. Then I may be good to go to the end by just changing 2 on the last stop.
I'm with you, brother.
Well, the way this day is gone, you've got to stop now because you don't know when you might next get the chance.
Yeah, you do everything you can under caution has always been my theory. And then if you got to do something really bizarre, do it under the green when it might win you the race.
And the reason I say 2 at the end, Dick Bergman, that last stop, you won't have to stay there for both cans of fuel. Dick.
Yeah, oh yeah, Kenseth is going to want to get all the fuel in his car that he possibly can. It will be a 4-tire stop. Kenseth has asked the crew to take a good close look at his front bumper. He's obviously been pushing some people out there, some bump drafting. To Steve.
Dick, Jeff Gordon saying his race car is still just a little bit tight. They made small air pressure adjustments to that number 24. They talked about 2 tires, but they're going to chase 4, Matt.
Now the top of your screen, Elliott Sadler. No changes again for the 38. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson still tweaking the air pressure on the bottom of your screen. The 38 will not win the battle off pit road.
And that's because Matt Kenseth had a 12.8-second pit stop.
That was as good as you can do.
You can see Joe Nemechek, the 01. I was watching his pit stop, gained 13 spots, 2 tires only on that Army car.
I tell you what, that 17 took 4 in the amount of time it normally takes to take 2.
You see right there, 6 seconds less on the 01 car. That pretty much tells the tale about 2 tires.
Kevin Harvick, who got heavy damage in the first caution flag on lap 9, got the free pass. He's now just 2 laps down. Celebration this time, not frustration, in Matt Kenseth's pit.
Be 1 to go this time, Bo. 1 to go.
We're in front of the 24, 38, 01, 24. There you go, you got it right. Yeah, 10-4. All right, Joe, 58 to go. 58 to go. One more stop to go. In.
Well, I just...
Getting set for the restart at 130 laps. 40 lead changes today. Huge crowd for a Monday. Green flag. Matt Kenseth leads them across with Sadler, Nemechek, Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., Johnson, Vickers, McMurray, Edwards, and Green. Jeff Green, the top 10.
Yeah, Roush may have 2 cars that are out. Biffle and, of course, Mark Martin's not out. He's still out there 86 laps down, but he's got 3 cars in the top 10. Kenseth, McMurray, and Edwards.
It's the weirdest restart I've ever seen. I mean, they got all broken up. You got 3 cars that's way out in front of the group of about 7 or 8, and then the rest of the pack.
Just like a rubber band. Give them about 4 laps.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
all be back together.
Yeah, they'll reel them in, but I'm not sure what caused that separation. Like, the good thing it's not a green-white checkered.
Steve?
Hey, Mike, under caution, Jeff Gordon told his crew, he said, when we restart, tell the 38, Elliott Sadler, I'll help him get to the front and lead a lap. But if he does, all bets are off. I've noticed, guys, they don't want to run with me too much today. As crew chief Steve Letarte said, yeah, funny about that. The better you get, the less friends you have.
Here he comes on the outside, looking for the lead right up against Kenseth. Nowhere to go.
Now I figured it out. If it was a green-white checkered, where would the 24 be? Up there racing for the win. Yes. Coming to the checkered.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8, beating on that rear bumper. The 24 going down the backstretch. The only way Kenseth held off Jeff Gordon in the 24, he had to put the block on him.
You're clear high if you'd like. No help in the bottom. No help in the
look
bottom.
out. You're not clear high either, dude. You got the 24 out there. Be careful.
Nobody is sitting down in this crowd here at Talladega.
I got to use this. This is an incredible statistic. Dale Jr. is average finish in 25 restrictor plate races is a 11th place. And you know what? His dad's average finish in 53 races was a 9.3.
Wow.
Now, do they know how to do restrictor plate racing in that family?
Won here 10 times, Dale Earnhardt Sr.
And Dale Jr.'s won 5.
Matt?
Junior's back in line now, diving to the inside. Under that last caution, NASCAR passed along a message for the drivers of the 8 and the 99 just to settle down a little bit. When they told Junior, says 10-4, I'll calm down. But when we were side by side, he just kept running me up the racetrack every single lap. Junior's car was both loose and tight. They made a track bar adjustment as he works on the inside. Is that the 99 again, Mike?
Yeah, it is.
Up front, it's Roush against Hendrick. On point, the Roush Fords came up the high side. Kenseth and McMurray, the Hendrick Chevy, splitting the Hendrick Chevys. They worked Vickers on the inside out of that threesome. So now it's Gordon and Johnson and Chevys on point. Then the 2 Roush Fords. Dick Berggren.
Well, sense of fair play. Carl Edwards came on the radio and said he was not happy with Junior either. He said that Junior continues to run into the side of his car, even under caution. Watch this deal with the 99 and the 8. They don't like each other very much this afternoon.
They will if they get nose to tail and they can help each other.
Well, it begs the answer to our singular virtual crew chief question. Do you need a teammate to win at Talladega?
Well, and you know, there hadn't been a lot of races, Larry, where Dale Jr. hadn't had a teammate.
Pretty even. I would have thought that one would go 90-10.
No, you know what? I kind of agree with that.
Okay.
I don't really think you do. I think back to my word, co-opetition. You work with the competition.
You're automatically entered for a chance to win Jeff Burton's payday in Daytona when you play.
Tell you what, there at the bottom of the racetrack, look at that Best Buy Chevrolet, the 66 car of Jeff Green went to the bottom. Tony Stewart in that 20 followed him right down there. And I mentioned him a while ago. Look at Scott Wimmer in that 4 car up there, banging up there in the top 10. This is a team that missed the Daytona 500 at one time. This race team, Morgan McClure, owned this racetrack.
Remember, Larry, what you said, I think it was our practice qualifying show. They went to the wind tunnel. They went to the proving ground. They've been on the chassis dyno. They've done a lot of work.
The Fords did what they had to do here, Darrell. First, they worked Brian Vickers out of that 3-car tight draft. Now they work Jimmy Johnson away from Jeff Gordon. And here come the Fords on the outside.
Tell you what, right behind them is another guy that has fought his way back up there, Scott Riggs, in that 10. Kind of the only Dodge up there in the top 10, except for Kurt Busch in the 2 that's starting to make some moves.
Yeah, those 2 cars have been pretty good all day long. The 2 and the 10. The 2's been, at times, has looked pretty good, but I don't know. It seems like he can't stay. He doesn't have the staying power.
But you see all those Hendrick cars up there. Jeff Green in the 66 goes to the bottom of Jeff Gordon in the 24. That's a Hendrick engine there in that thing. He just drives by Gordon.
Yeah, but he's looking a little lonely down there on the bottom, Larry.
No help.
All by myself. No one will help me.
Make a deal. You sing, we'll go to commercial. 136 down, 52 to go.
Behind you. I'll double file behind you. They're all around, double file behind you. File behind you. I'll one back and then double file. Oh, 3 back. All behind you. None on you there. Double file behind you. All behind you, all clear. Too wide, still inside. Inside. Three wide. Two wide, just inside now. Clear through the middle, clear low, clear low. Upside, outside. You've got help. That's the 11 behind you. 3 wide. Just outside now. Clear all around. 11 in your mirror. Outside, outside. Still outside. Clear high if you'd like. Outside, outside. Clear all around. Outside, outside, help's coming. Outside. Three wide. Three wide. Two wide.
And I thought he did.
I think the other thing these guys know, they've got one more pit stop that'll be coming with about 20 or 22 laps to go if we stay on the green. Speaking of that pit stop, little deal making going on.
I've always wanted to say this. Deal or no deal?
We'll know here shortly when we come back.
Double foul. Foul clear all around. Double foul. Can't drive it. It's shaking too bad. Get up in the middle of it and about wreck. 4. Slow cars up ahead on the bottom.
We need to go about 13 more laps and we'll have to do 4 tires in.
behind you. Double file behind you. Three wide, 3 wide. Still 3 wide, limited help in the bottom lane. Three wide, 3 wide. Wide, just one outside, June. Just one car outside. High if you'd like. Inside now. Still inside. 3 wide, 2 wide, still got 1 down there. Still inside. Inside.
Here at Dega, including Kurt Busch in second place. And they're going to sandwich Jimmy Johnson.
Now, notice we're getting close to another time to a pit stop. Notice how wadded up everything is. That's because some guys are better on new tires, some guys are a little bit better on old tires. Everybody's car is faster on low fuel because they're lighter.
48's behind you, 42's a lapper. Middle of 3, clear low, still outside.
Sadler coming back for the lead. On the outside, Gordon up to block.
Mike, Larry, I tell you, if you want to win this race, there's 2 cars you got to work with. The 24 and the 38, and you better pick one.
They have definitely been 2 of the strongest cars all day long.
They can fall back and catch back up, and there's not a lot of guys that can do that consistently.
Jeff Gordon trying for his 3rd Talladega win in the Pepsi paint scheme and his 3rd in a row to tie David Pearson.
Clear.
Caution for debris. Low, clear low.
What do you need there, babe?
It blew up, Tony Jr.
All righty.
tires for Jeff Gordon.
Everybody off pit road behind Gordon.
Looked like for the most part everybody knows this will be their final stop here with 35 laps to go. Looks like almost everyone went with 4 tires full of fuel.
A little lower air pressure on the get-go here. The car will just come into him a little bit better later in the run.
Dale Jr. went up, scraped the wall in turn number 4, got on the radio, said blow it up. Watch for the number 8.
Going down into turn 3, and there she goes. A big puff of smoke and a hearty Hi-O Silver.
Trying to get up there out of the way of traffic. And I'm corrected. It does not appear that he scraped the wall.
No, it just was the when the engine blew, it just smoke. Boom.
Right in front of Denny Hamlin in 11. You can see that did the same thing, I'm sure, to Denny Hamlin's windshield.
He was drafting along with his favorite partner, Tony Stewart. You know, remember earlier at lap 88, Dale Jr. had that spin in turn 3.
This can do harm to an engine. When the car spins and the engine starts to turn backwards when the wheels are spinning, it can do some damage to an engine. It can hurt the valve train. Just think about it. You're going 190 mile an hour forward, and the next minute you're going 150 mile an hour backwards.
You know, these guys that put 4 fresh tires on, it's not that 4 fresh tires will make you faster, it just lets you maneuver the race car.
Dick Bergman.
You got out of the car after that blown engine came up here and just slunk down. How physically, mentally demanding is this race today?
Just disappointed, really. We had a pretty decent car and got loose getting into 3s, 4 wide, and I got loose and got in the car and spun myself out. Might have spun the motor backwards. That's might be why it blew up, but right there just now, blew up, quit running. So tough day for us, but oh well.
Could you sense the crowd when you were passing people and notice they're all standing up with the red shirts, the black shirts cheering for you?
I was doing everything I could to try to get to the front. I mean, everything. And it's just when you're about 6th, 7th, or 8th or on back, you really got nothing to do but go with the guy in front of you. You go to the bottom. Bottom's not working today, which is interesting. But really not many people making these things happen on the bottom. So everybody's running in the middle and top, and just sit there in line. Hopefully somebody pulls out of the bottom and you just fill that hole, you know. But pretty good car to start the race. When I spun out, got the toe end messed up, drove wide after that, but the blown motor's going to end the day.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr., fan favorite, terribly disappointed this afternoon, Mike.
Thanks, Dick. The number of leaders is now past 20. Kevin LePage is out front in Talladega.
The Aaron's 499 on Fox is sponsored by Visa.
I haven't seen them all in a while. Let's see. They must be ahead of us because I don't see them behind me.
Trying to find them here. It's one to go. It's time to go. Yeah, 43's ahead of us. They're not hitting pit road right now. 3,700, Michael.
Left 43 is taking 2. Taking 2. No, he's taking 4. You're clearing. Go, 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 go.
All the way to the grass, clear all the way out. 37.
you're there.
Hey, that's our car!
Go see the difference DLP technology makes.
Just couldn't wait.
DLP, only from Texas Instruments. It doesn't get any more real than this. Get free shipping and low prices on a great selection of DLP HD TVs at Amazon.com.
I've been waiting for this all day. So yeah, you and me both. Let's do it. Okay, bud, it's giddy up time. Let's go.
Having a green this time. Make sure everything good and tight there. Doors off.
Boyer, Shelmerdine, Schrader, and Sadler. It'll be 32 laps to go when they come by.
Now, everyone pretty much pitted with 35 to go, and we know they could all make it from there without stopping. But when they got to 1 to go, we saw about a dozen cars come back on the pit road, including Tony Stewart, to top off in case we go into overtime in this race and go beyond 188 laps.
And that's a pretty good insurance policy to take out right now.
27 cars are on the lead lap.
Out before Cassie and Rhonda.
Elliott Sadler, our pole sitter in the 38 car. First car to stick his nose out there. Is anybody going to go with him? Looks like that top group's going to stay lined up and kick him to the bottom with no help.
Well, when you go to the bottom like that, I believe he needs. If I was anybody in that front group, I'd say I'm going to work with you to the end, dude, because he is bad fast. But they're leaving him hung out, and I just don't think that's a good idea. I would have got down there with him and pushed him.
I thought it was a little early getting up to speed to go to the bottom of the racetrack. They normally on the first lap, they stay at the top to get them wound up.
Might have been experimenting. Might have been saying, okay, maybe I'll try this on the last lap, see what happens.
I wonder, Darrell, if that's the one car you can't beat, why help him?
To help yourself.
Okay.
I mean, to get up there, you know, if you don't have a chance of beating that 24, you got to get with somebody that does, and I believe he's got the best chance.
Goes Kurt Busch in that 2 car, the Dodge to the high side. He'll slide in front of Matt Kenseth in the 17.
And remember, we saw Matt and Matt Kenseth's crew chief and Kurt's crew chief talking to each other about working together and pitting together.
Now, Busch has one potential friend at the front, and that's the 10 of Scott Riggs. That's the other Dodge in this lead pack. Well, add Reed Sorensen in the 41. That's also a Dodge.
Tell you what, he just drove by Jeff Gordon in the 24 on the inside. Kenseth goes on the high side, but now Gordon's got his teammate Jimmy Johnson in the 48 behind him.
Boy, that 24 car jumped a little bit right there coming through down toward turn 1, but he gathered her back up.
How about Elliott Sadler, Matt? He's got to be a little frustrated right this minute.
They just reminded him, Mike, just be patient. Still a long way to go. Under the caution, they were concerned whether they were 1 lap short of making it to the finish. Talked about even bringing him in to top him off, but they left him out. The 25 of Vickers, he's good. If we don't get a green-white checker, the 48 of Johnson on the inside, the Lowe's car, he's good as well.
Now, we heard Dale Jr. say the bottom's not working today, that more cars are running middle to the top. But I got to believe at that 24, 48, and the 38, they're going to find a way around the bottom.
Steve, what about fuel on Jeff Gordon?
It's close for Jeff Gordon as well, Mike. Crew Chief Steve Letarte told him before the restart, try to save us a little gas if you can. Now, if it does go to overtime, as Larry Mack said, it's going to be tight.
Which is the reason those dozen cars stopped and topped off.
Now here, all you can do to save fuel here is to run behind somebody, but you still got to be careful lifting in and out of the throttle, working those squirters in the carburetor. That burns up a lot of fuel here too.
If we get a late race caution flag, if necessary, NASCAR will extend the length of the race past 188 laps and make one attempt at a green flag, then white flag, then checkered flag finish. So this race could go past the advertised distance if needed, so the fans can hopefully see an attempt at a green flag finish.
Of course, a few caution laps would solve everybody's problems.
Right.
And they are working real hard to solve everybody's problem.
As we update these fuel stories, let's go to Dick Berggren on Matt Kenseth.
Just talked to Robbie Reiser, asked him if he could make it to the end. He said he thought he probably could. Asked him about a green-white checker situation. Thought he probably could make it through that too. But, you know, it's definitely a guessing game down here at this point. A lot is determined by how many caution flag laps we have and how intense the racing gets. So many variables involved. And what Robbie tagged his conversation with me with is, that's what makes it so interesting. We don't really know.
27 laps to go this time by.
That's definitely what makes it a challenge.
27.
Kurt Busch out in front has never won a restrictor plate race, Daytona or Talladega. He's been second twice at Daytona and third twice here.
Let me add to that. Penske Racing, other than the Budweiser shootout, they've never won a restrictor plate points race.
Busch, Kenseth, McMurray lead the Aaron's 499 on Fox.
For you was
Scott Cameron.
Right there. Behind you, single file behind you. Clear all around.
I'm sorry, I had to take that.
Yeah, 10-4, you're clear all around. Can't leave any openings.
Right now, it's whoever goes slow goes to the back.
Ten 4, 25 laps to go. 10:25 to go. Keep an eye in your mirror.
All clear.
One back. That's the 01 ahead of you. The only car on the bottom right here. 19 creeping up the hill.
Gate said to switch your distributor ignition to 2. Yellow is out. Yellow is out.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
Won a restrictor plate race and caution waves. Bobby Labonte appears to have grenaded an engine. It had come by here the last few laps sounding very rough. The STP 43, and there's Labonte going to the garage after bringing out the 7th caution flag of the day.
STP, stay together please, didn't work today.
I want to take a minute to thank our Fox production and technical crew for their efforts on this unscheduled day, Monday. A lot of our folks would like to have been up in New York for the Sports Emmy Awards tonight. Both production and technical of NASCAR on Fox nominated for several awards. Our producer Neil Goldberg would like to be helping his son Zach celebrate a birthday today, and Richie Basili directing, Pam Miller pit producing, and all of our production and technical staff. Thanks for hanging with us. It's been an exciting one so far, and the grandstand is still about 98% full. A few Earnhardt Jr. fans have headed to the house when he headed to the garage, but we're still 23 laps from the finish here.
Bobby Labonte, the 43 car, we had been listening to him come by the last 10 or 12 laps, was not sounding good, and it finally expired. Now here's the situation. We feel like most teams can make it to the end. We've got 23 laps to go. We've only been on this set of tires for 23 laps. The guys that were a little close on fuel, these cautions could help make that difference up. I got to believe, though, maybe some of the guys at the back on the lead lap possibly come to pit road, put insurance on the fuel, maybe even go ahead and get fresh tires.
We'll see what happens here.
Well, we've seen good cars be able to get from the back to the front all day long, and here they come.
There they all come, except for McMurray, Elliott Sadler. So looks like only Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth, Brian Vickers, Jimmy Johnson at the very front will go to pit road.
You know, I like 4 tires if enough people come and get them, and they did. And we've talked about it many times. It gives you maneuverability, Dick.
Well, I think they must have heard you, Darrell, because as Kurt Busch was coming down pit road, the decision was to take 2. He was about 6 pits away, and Roy McCauley said 4. Busch now 4 fresh tires. Let's see what he can do. Matt.
Going to be a 4-tire change, Dick, on the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Now the 38 Elliott Sadler, they just came on the radio and said, we made a great call. As the 25 of Vickers, Johnson's teammate, he's already away.
I like your logic, Darrell. I'd rather have 4 tires to get to the front than have 4 worn tires and try to hold everybody off.
If I got to go high, low, middle, wide, everywhere else, you know, move all around the racetrack, I want some grip.
And they can't block all those lanes at once, can they?
Nope.
Of the lead lap cars, it's about half and half. Half stayed out, half pitted.
4 Mr. Feelgoods, and I'll show you something.
All right, you better show me.
Thanks for coming with me.
Dale, you might want to keep your ignition fan, the blower, on. Ignition blower. Yes, ignition fan should be on at least for a while. 4. I didn't quite understand you, but I think, yeah, there will be about 20 to go when we take the green here. Talk to the 2 in front of you and the 1 behind you, boss.
New, the French toast sandwich. Made
Stricter plate race in NASCAR, the Daytona 500, the winner, Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy talked with us about his psychology of where to be and when.
The race really is so long, and you spend the whole, in my mind, before the first three quarters of the race, just trying to get in position. And really, there's a lot. I needed to be patient a lot longer than that. Until the last 3 or 4 laps, if you can just be in the top 3, top 5 at that point, then you have a chance at winning the race, because whoever's in second or third or fourth, they're going to pull out and try to make a move, and there's no telling what's going to happen. So I think in the past I've been a little impatient. I've made my moves too soon. Then I've cycled myself out of the top 3 or 5 and haven't had a chance to win. In Daytona, I just almost in some ways said, I don't care if I sit here in second or third, something's going to happen in front of me. There's going to be a chance for me to advance myself, and it kind of worked itself out that way.
We're about to see how it works out here. Kurt Busch was the race leader when he pitted under this caution. Now Jimmy Johnson is also well back. He and his teammate Brian Vickers together 17th and 18th. They are right behind Busch, who was the leader but came in for tires at the behest of his crew chief.
Yeah, the top 13 cars stayed out from McMurray all the way back through Dave Blaney. Matt Kenseth won the battle off pit road, is in 14th right now of the cars that pitted. Jimmy Johnson, the 48, was the 5th car off pit road as far as the cars that pitted.
Now, of the cars that did not, look at second and third place. The 2 Dodges, Scott Riggs and Reed Sorensen. Here's Steve.
Mike, great job by Reed Sorensen. Heavy damage to that 41 car on lap 8. And then on lap 110, he drilled a tire, damage to the left front corner of that race car. They battled back. Now, you said they're both in Dodges. They're with different teams. Riggs with Evernham, Reed Sorensen with Ganassi. But both of those drivers know they're going to have to work together if they have a shot to win this race. Matt.
A lot of humor on the 38 radio. Elliott Sadler just said, hey, tell DJ to come on up here. I'm tired of being tag team. And then they were joking around and says, well, he's got the senior citizen discount now. He's rested and ready. He'll get up there and help you out. Remember, Elliott's up there all by himself with the teammates of the Hendrick guys and a few other RCR guys, and he needs some help. DJ's back in 11th.
I believe he's coming. He sat there pretty quietly all day, as we've noted a couple of times. Time to go.
And those top 13 cars have about 10 more laps on their tires than the guys that pitted.
And just think about the race he won here last year. We never even heard his name mentioned until about 10 to go. Dale Jarrett we're talking about.
Here goes Sadler by himself. Now he picks up a little drafting help. Nope, not anymore.
Boy, I'll tell you one thing. He doesn't have any problem going it alone. He'll drop that thing to the inside when nobody else will. That's how much confidence I think he has in that car. He keeps thinking somebody will say, come on, man, get out here with me. What's wrong with you guys?
But he goes to the bottom immediately on a restart, it seems.
I can hear him now. I got an awesome race car. Get out here with me.
Slides up just in front of Jeff Gordon in the 24 car right there.
Now, that's 2 of a kind right there, the 38 and the 24. I believe they're the 2 fastest race cars.
Tell you what, though, there's a line on the bottom, Foreman, led by your brother, Michael Waltrip, in the 55 car. He's got Tony Stewart in the 20. Now Elliott Sadler has some push back there by that group, as well as Jeff Gordon in the 24.
Michael Waltrip couldn't hold the bottom, and Jarrett gets past. Dale Jarrett in the 88 UPS car, only 3 car lengths away from his Yates Racing teammate, Sadler.
Hanging with you.
Hello, Big Orange.
Yeah. Spent all day hiding out in the back. Now he's come to the front. Stewart, the defending series champ, looking for some racing room behind Jeff Gordon.
People we haven't talked about much all day are all of a sudden emerging at the front of the field. Imagine that.
Tony Stewart in the 20 being one of them.
And
remember, he was involved in a caution earlier.
Dale Jarrett's there. Tony Raines in the 96 car, in Troy's car.
Michael Waltrip way up high in 4, all but scraped the wall.
And right now, McMurray in that 26 car, he's driving out the rear view mirror more than he is out the windshield. Boy,
Sorensen has been kicked to the back of that pack.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 car just by the start-finish line, jumped up in front of Scott Riggs in the 10, but there comes Tony Stewart. Gordon's going to fall down in front of him down the backstretch.
Now, see, to me, right there's where Elliott Sadler should have come down in front of Jeff, got the push, and took the lead.
Now, there comes those 4 fresh tires, though, Matt Kenseth in that 17 car up through the middle with Brian Vickers in the 25.
I don't know about all that, but I do know I see that big 2-0 right there looking for the lead.
Uh-oh, 4 wide again between 3 and 4. This can't be good. Still 4 wide coming to the tri-oval.
Oh, yeah. 16 to go this time, boys.
That's incredible. Blaney on the bottom, Busch in the middle with Riggs. Edwards up high and no contact.
I want to reevaluate my prediction there. The 3 fastest cars, and one of them just showed us how fast he is, Tony Stewart.
He just drove by McMurray in the 26 car, takes the lead coming onto the backstretch.
I think his timing is impeccable.
You'd think this was the last lap. There's still 4 wide back in this pack heading for 3.
There comes Dale Jarrett, though, in that 88 car, the UPS car to the inside. Look at him over here, 3 and 4 wide.
Now, that's what Tony's been watching, but now he's watching it from a better perspective.
Well, we told you to buy that stock at the top of the show, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Stewart in the lead. 15 laps to go this time.
Oh,
Trouble. 2 cars hard, 4 in the wall. Nemechek bounces off, catches Waltrip, who keeps going. Quaffle, another near miss, but he spins. And 4 cars are wrecked. LePage, Nemechek, Blaney, and Sorensen.
I'm going to tell you what, though. You mentioned Travis Quaffle. How he missed getting in that. I know he spun out, but it was so close you just wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, 10-4, it was close.
He's not moving anymore.
That's Nemechek talking about his car, and he'll climb out.
You know, they fixed it last week where they torn up pretty badly so he could keep his string of races running at the finish, but it's a little late today, I'm afraid.
He had been running at the finish of, what, 40 races in a row, but he'll have to climb out this time.
Yeah, 40 consecutive races without a DNF, well over a full season.
Sorensen gets going. That car's not raceable, though. What a mess. Darrell, they went 4 wide for 2 laps in a row. Something had to give here.
We see, I believe,
Kevin LePage in the 61 and Blaney in the 22 got together.
I'm not so sure the 11 down on the bottom, though, didn't start, forced everybody to move up.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin, I believe, got into Blaney, and it was a chain reaction from there.
Second time a day somebody's gotten into Blaney and forced him up into somebody else. Happened to the 42 car. See, the 11's down on the, really down on the flat, and he forces Blaney up into the 61. Reed Swanson has nowhere to go. Joe doesn't. And
11,
bam, boy, Michael took a hard shot.
I don't know if he was forced down there, but the 11 was kind of down in the no zone with 2 wheels on the side of the line.
With Travis Quaffle in that 32 car.
Look at that thing. Holy smoly.
Well, who shall we ride with? How about
I don't know.
Nemechek?
It don't matter. My eyes closed.
Still 2 inside. Stay up high.
Just seems like it never ends.
Yeah, around and around you go, and where she stops, just please stop.
Michael Waltrip was right behind Nemechek.
Yeah, he's going to get a pretty hard shot right here from Nemechek.
There's Hamlin up into Blaney.
Yep.
Stay low, stay low. Stay low.
I don't know how that didn't knock him into the wall.
Time to give our DLP cable cam a workout here.
Get some pretty good shots from this. Oh, man. The 22 car was airborne there for a second.
Watch 32. Watch the Tide car come in here right there.
For the second time today. He spins out, but he really doesn't hit anything. And you know what's sad? There were some cars involved in that had great runs going that needed a good finish. Joe Nemechek, Michael Waltrip, Dave Blaney. Kevin LePage. All of them had avoided trouble all day long.
And Reed Sorensen was in the first wreck, but stayed on the lead lap and in the top 10 most of the day.
32 did get some damage to the right front. I don't think it's serious.
Okay.
Not as serious as this.
No, the state water heater's forward. That's LePage.
There's the man riding in second right now, Jeff Gordon, in that 24 car. Will probably get this thing restarted roughly with about 10 or 11 laps to go.
Now, after this race, these teams are going to have a short turnaround. There's a 2-day open test at Lowe's Motor Speedway on the new pavement, and then everybody has to reload for Richmond. We'll be there with the Nextel Cup Series Saturday night.
It's a good time at Richmond. The fans love the racing there. A lot of history at the track.
Yeah, it's just you know, the Saturday night special. You know, let's get it on type of racing.
Feels like a big track, and it puts on a great race. You know the cars bottom out a little bit. You see sparks, and it's a nighttime event.
To me, it just makes the racing that much more exciting. You know, you have the shadows, you have just different elements you just don't have in a regular day race. The track's always faster because of the cooler temperatures.
That's what makes it tough there, because everybody's so close and it's so hard to pass that, you know, you need to do what you need to do sometimes to get by a guy, and that'll make tempers, you know, flare.
Definitely a big necessity to keep your emotions in check and make sure that you've got, you know, a good cool head on your shoulders and make it to the end. You know, it's a lot better finishing 5th than it is 36th.
I really like nighttime race, Friday, Saturday night. Good old short track racing. Richmond is the place I enjoy.
17:31.88.2. 4.
Got a good hunch the 38 will try to hook up with the 88. Big old motors, so stick with them. That would be a good one.
Ten-4. Thanks, Eddie, for doing that.
Gordy, when you get that right front off, we need to do some toe work here. Just leave that right front off.
Somebody tell me what to do with my wheels.
Standing right here. What you need to do, Steve?
Pace car, turn 2. Center of the back straightaway. One to go at the line. Pace car, turn 3.
Plenty of time.
Michael, they won't let us go out. They said the rotor is broken.
Brakes. I got rear brakes. Tell him. I got tons of brakes.
Somebody's got tons of brakes. How you stopped in front of pit stall?
Let me stop. Stop.
Yeah, they want you behind the wall, Michael. Pace car's off of 4.
All right, tell him I'll ride around the infield since I'm already down here. I'll ride around the bottom of the racetrack.
With there'll be less than 10 laps to go. Remember, you cannot get a free pass when there's less than 10 laps to go. It's not going to end up being a really good day for him.
No, and you'll restart behind all the lead lap cars. So he, Blaney, and Harvick and Reed Sorensen will be the cars 1 lap down when we go back to green. Didn't take much contact to get all that started. Just a little bit right back there was all it took to send Blaney into LePage, into Nemechek, into the wall.
Yeah, well, he forced his way in, and he got a little bit below the line. Plus, there was not enough room. I'm sure he would say, well, I was forced down there, but you got to take that into consideration as a driver.
So Hamlin serving the penalty. He was the leading rookie in the race. That honor will now go to his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, J.J. Yaley, who was in 21st place and the only rookie left on the lead lap.
And you mentioned earlier we've had a rookie finish in the top 15 every race so far in 2006. So Yaley's got a little bit of work to do to keep that streak alive,
Yeah,
DW.
we had 3 of them in the top 20 there up until this episode, and that took out, of course, Hamlin did it to himself, and Sorensen got involved in the wreck. So Yaley's got a good race car, and he was running right there about 17th.
So we'll have 23 lead lap cars when we go back to green, with about 10 laps to go.
And like so much of the day, we've got 3 of those Hendrick cars up there in the top 5. Jeff Gordon, Brian Vickers, and Jimmy Johnson.
Vickers trying to win his first Nextel Cup race. That's happened here on 8 occasions. Kenny Schrader, Davey Allison, Richard Brickhouse, Bobby Hillen, Phil Parsons, Lenny Pond, Dick Brooks, and Ron Bouchard scored their first wins here. But they've got to beat Stewart and Gordon to do it. This was early in the day. Dale Jr. going around at lap 88, and Tony Stewart got into him, having to make repairs on the right front corner.
Larry, after watching that replay again, there's no doubt in my mind that all that engine turning backwards and forwards that Dale Jr. did right there in that spin, I'm thinking that's what hurt that engine.
Yeah, wasn't that many laps after that the engine expired on the Budweiser car.
There's the patch on the right front corner on Stewart's nose. His last 5 plate races, all of 2005 and Daytona this year, average finish 3.4, a win, 2 seconds, a 5th, and a 7th.
And the good thing about the repair work that Greg Zipadelli and that group did on this car, they did a nice job of fixing it. You have a lot of time here under caution. You have about 2.5 minutes or better, which you can kind of take your time and make sure it's right.
Yeah, that's a little Band-Aid compared to some of these guys' damage they've had today. Looking pretty confident right now. I would.
Stewart leading. Jeff Gordon second, Vickers, McMurray, and what about Jimmy Johnson, our Daytona winner, Matt?
Well, Mike, humor is plentiful on the 48 radio, as well as a number of other team radios underneath this car, under this caution. Now, Jimmy just said, after talking to his spotter Earl Barbin, commenting about what a great job he has done today. In fact, when all the debris down by start finish, he was telling him exactly where to and where not to go. And then Jimmy said, you know what, you're doing a great job. And Earl just said, you know what, just call me Allstate. The good hands people. It's his insurance policy.
Well, as far as these last 8 or 9 laps, the crew chief can do nothing. Those guys right up there are the guys that can really help their drivers out there, those spotters.
Remember the big variable about this racetrack? The start-finish line is way down here, not in the middle of the trioval like at Daytona, and so much can happen in that extra, nearly 2,000 feet or so.
Let's see, DW, can you say 1981?
I tell you, a lot can happen, right? You can lose a race in that distance, I know that.
Well, you know it probably better than anybody. You had Terry Labonte beat. I've got a picture from the start-finish line in 1981 of you looking over at Labonte, making sure you had him beat.
Yeah, I rubbed on him. I bounced off, I rubbed on a little bit, tried to break his momentum. I said, I got that sucker. I looked over, got down to the start-finish line. I said, I don't remember passing any cars.
Here it is. Waltrip's in the green car. Labonte's on the outside in red. This is on the last lap.
Trying to block Terry because he had a good run, and that was because Bouchard there gave him a push, and I'm banging on him. I think, I got him. And all of a sudden I looked over and I said, man, where'd that guy come from?
Ron Bouchard, driving for Jack Beebe, went to victory lane that day. His first and only then Winston Cup win. So a lot can happen between right about here and where the finish line is down toward turn 1.
Well, Larry Mack.
Well, I know it's 9 laps to go next week at Richmond. 9 laps is not much. It's like eternity here at this racetrack.
Stewart, big jump out in front of Jeff Gordon, but Gordon has help from his teammate Brian Vickers.
Saw Gordon do this earlier in the day. I said, what kind of restart was that? And remember what he did? He sucked up there and blew right by. I think it was Elliott Sadler at the time.
This is the Johnny Cash move. I hear a train a-coming. Coming around this bend.
Tell you what, Dale Jarrett in that 88 car, the UPS car, he jumped to the high side. He's been hunting his teammate, Elliott Sadler. Elliott Sadler's been hunting him. There's Kurt Busch in the 2 with those guys here. The 8 to go next time by.
That slow car on the bottom, hope it makes it back to pit road.
And you see who took the lead, and you see what happened to the 20. He is a sitting duck.
Jamie McMurray jumped to the high side, tried to get in front of his teammate Matt Kenseth, but the 2 Hendrick cars block him through the tri-oval. All 3 Hendrick cars up there, 1, 2, 3.
8 laps to go. McMurray now working with Vickers on the outside, trying to get around Gordon. The 2 Hendrick cars battle side by side now. Looks like a pace lap at over 180 miles an hour.
Look at Tony Raines in that 96 car. Hall of Fame Racing getting a shove by Carl Edwards in the 99. He's up there battling the top 5. Stewart to the high side.
4 wide again. This gets dodgy.
Every time we've seen this, somebody has paid the price.
This didn't work earlier. 4 wide through the tri-oval.
Jeff Green wisely backed out. He was the car on the bottom. Now it's just 3 wide.
And there they are, DW, on the high side. Jamie McMurray in the 26 getting a push from the 2 car Kurt Busch. We've seen these guys together a lot today.
We really have, but again, I'll just say it. I've been impressed with the way the Hendrick Motorsports guys have hung together through thick and thin.
Matt Yoakum, Sadler's been the fastest car all day, but now he's stuck in 7th. Can he get back there?
He's on the outside looking for his teammate Dale Jarrett. DJ radioed under the last caution. He works the bottom better with everyone working the middle of the high side. That's where he's going to try to make his move, but you can see he's stuck back in the middle, falling back more and more.
Whoa, Edwards up into Jeff Burton.
Tell you what, McMurray and Jimmy Johnson got together last time on the backstretch, but McMurray moves up to 2nd behind Brian Vickers. 6 to go.
Right now is when all those mirrors are full and you use every one of them.
Top side, Stewart with Sadler, but they're back about 10th and 12th. Can't go. Raines came up in front of Sadler.
Jumps out, and there's his teammate. Matt Kenseth, he jumps out.
Like a planned move. Kurt Busch comes down to pick them up, so does McMurray. And so does Vickers out front, trying to be the 9th Talladega first-time winner.
And there's Tony up on the high side, trying to get a run down here through the tri-oval and get back up to the front. I tell you, he's got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Riding with Tony Raines right here in the DLP car.
5 to go.
Covered low and high. Still covered low and high.
Yeah, you're in the middle.
Man, that McMurray's car gets so loose sometime. Had it sideways going into 1.
He's going to get a push up through the middle, though, from Jeff Gordon in the 24. Jimmy Johnson in the 48.
And Gordon's been the best car to send somebody to the front all day.
Jamie McMurray got a run.
And Gordon's going to go with him, the 24 car. He goes to the high side with McMurray.
Larry, he's got to. You got to go with the fast guy, whoever it is.
And look at Gordon. He's got Jimmy Johnson in tow, his other Hendrick teammate.
It's just really treacherous coming off of 4, 3 wide. That makes. Look at Stewart. He fell back. Here he comes. He's not out of this thing by any means. Looking to the bottom.
3 wide, Stewart under Kenseth and Burton.
4 to go.
Stewart with Vickers on the bottom.
Better believe McMurray, he's going to try to keep that 24 car in his rearview mirror. Here comes Vickers fighting back with help from Tony Stewart.
3 Hendrick cars battling for second while McMurray gets away.
He's not going to get very far away. This isn't no Alabama breakaway, I can tell you that.
There comes Scott Riggs up through the middle of the 10 car pushing Kenseth. Remember, Riggs has those fresh tires.
Lead change. Jeff Gordon, who's led the most laps today.
Duck in, Jamie, duck in, or you're going to get sacked.
Jeff Gordon back to the front.
Behind you, double ball behind you.
Trying to three-peat.
He has those 2 Hendrick teammates back behind him. We've seen them together all day long, like Darrell was talking about.
They have really done a good job of taking care of each other.
Kenseth went down. Vickers down to block. Kenseth up to the middle. Nowhere to go.
There comes Stewart, that 20 car. He's fighting back. 3 to go.
Matt Kenseth's going to be madder than a hornet. He made a great move and got blocked low, then got blocked high.
Watch him off of 4, y'all, or off of 2 over there. Patience. There's no more patience. This is all about who's got the most nerve right now. Put it where you would dare not to go.
No more patience, no more teammates. Vickers goes to the bottom. Tony Stewart right behind him in the 20.
Now, will Vickers be the good soldier and follow Jeff Gordon home, or does he want his first win that bad?
He's got to get his first win.
I think he's going to be a good soldier.
2 laps to go.
Nope, there he goes. And Stewart's pushing him in the 20 car. They go to the high side of Jeff Gordon. But here comes Johnson to push Gordon.
Kenseth in the middle again. Stewart comes down.
Now that was Vickers did a really good thing. He got out front, now dropped down and picked up his teammate.
Slow car, turn 1 on the bottom. Hopefully it'll turn in and not be a factor.
Vickers don't want to get too big of a lead here. They'll get a run on him.
Here comes 17 on the outside. Watch out, here comes Kenseth.
Remember what happened to Stewart on the restart? He got too big a lead, became a sitting duck.
Well, I tell you what, Tony Stewart has been to the front, to the back, to the front, and
Vickers blocking his teammate. White flag this time. 1 to go.
He's got to block 2 teammates to win it, though. Gordon and Johnson. He slides way up high and takes the white flag.
Oh, no.
Johnson stayed in bounds in the 48 car. He's got the push from Tony Stewart in the 20 to keep Vickers to the high side.
Vickers couldn't block them both. Here comes Kenseth around the top, but no help for Matt.
Tony's pushing up.
20 car behind you.
Going to get tight here, guys. Going to get tight.
Gordon's at the bottom in the 24. Not a lot of help down there. It's just tire smoke. They're beating and banging over there.
They're rubbing everything they got. Bottoms, tops, sides.
Checkered flag, so you better get the gas on.
All Jimmy Johnson that 48 can do is protect the bottom. That's all he can hope for.
Just remember, it's a long way down here to the finish line.
Oh, yeah.
Here it comes.
Blocking Stewart. Here they come.
Jimmy Johnson, Daytona 500 winner, holds off Tony Stewart and wins the Arrow 499. What a run. Wow. Stewart second. Vickers third.
Oh, yeah.
I say, oh, yeah.
Jeff Burton fourth, Jamie McMurray fifth, Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, Scott Riggs.
I feel for BV. That man drove one hell of a race, guys. BV, awesome job. And you guys, awesome job.
Robbie Gordon rounded out the top 10.
Talking about Brian Vickers, what a great job he did, and I agree. That's a super job for him today. 16 drivers finished within 1 second of each other.
And Jeff Gordon unofficially comes across in 15th. Pole sitter Elliott Sadler 16th.
I don't understand. How can a 38 end up 16th?
It's called Talladega.
Golly gee, and he had one of those. I know he has a fast car.
Chad Knaus didn't get to go to victory lane in the Daytona 500. He'll get to go there today.
That was an incredible finish, and it didn't wreck. That's what I like.
And the 2 fastest cars that led the most laps finish out of the top 10.
56 lead changes today.
Jamie McMurray up there. Oh, Jeff Burton. Look at that.
Great run. Car wouldn't run out front, but it could sure pull to the front.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta give these guys, you gotta give Chad and Jimmy a lot of credit, guys. They mind their manners all day long. Look at that car. It isn't all beaten up like some of the others are.
So the Lowe's Chevrolet will head to victory lane. So will we right after this.
You are watching NASCAR in-car, exclusively on digital cable.
From Sprint.
What do you want with your Pizza Hut pizza?
Wings.
Cinnamon sticks. Breadsticks. Hello.
Wings.
No, cinnamon sticks. Breadsticks. Cinnamon sticks.
How about wings?
Cinnamon sticks. Cinnamon sticks. Breadsticks.
Wings.
Guys! Let's get them all.
That's right. Just get them the new side sampler from Pizza Hut. Get 5 wings with ranch sauce, an order of breadsticks with marinara, and an order of cinnamon sticks with icing. All for $5.99 when you buy a large pizza at menu price. Now they can taste it all with the new side sampler. Everyone gets what they love when you go for the good stuff.
6 cars have a chance to win it. Jeff Gordon's going to lead him into turn 4.
3 wide. They're bouncing off each other.
You are the man, and it's time. Sir, you're right. It is time. We got him! Daytona 500!
Listen to every defining moment of your favorite driver live with Race Day Scanner. Get it and other exclusive content online through AOL.com/sports and NASCAR.com.
You guys are awesome!
Stealing may seem like the hard part, but getting away is a killer. Thief, the season finale, Tuesday.
When you fall at home, Life Alert can get you help fast, even when you cannot reach your phone.
When you have a heart attack like I did, and there's no one there, Life Alert was there for me.
Thanks to Life Alert, you can live alone without ever being alone. And that's why I wear one.
Please call 1-800-413-3535 for free information about Life Alert. That's 1-800-413-3535, or visit us on the web at the address on your screen. Don't delay. Call us now.
Get what you want right away. Go to CompUSA today and get Comcast high-speed internet for just $19.99 a month for 6 months. You'll also get a free $50 gift check from CompUSA. So remember, just go today and you'll be online by tonight. Comcast high-speed internet. It's Comcastic.
Friday on FX, Busch Series Racing kicks off the weekend under the lights in Richmond. Then Saturday, the world's best drivers go head-to-head at Nextel Cup's perfect short track.
Yes!
It all starts Friday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific.
Coming to you live on FX.
Anybody here? So why I became a firefighter. I run into a burning building. I don't know if I'm going to get out of it alive.
Rescue Me premieres Tuesday, May 30th, only on FX.
Welcome to the Sprint Post-Race Show. Chevy congratulates Jimmy Johnson and the Lowe's Monte Carlo SS on another great Team Chevy victory, 25 of the last 34 NASCAR Manufacturers Championships and counting. Chevy, an American revolution. Jimmy did his donuts, picked up the checkered flag, and did his own Polish victory style lap, saluting the fans, and then heading for victory lane. Sprays a little Gatorade on Dick Berggren.
Indeed, and we have some news for you, my friend. Your brother and his wife were expecting a new baby. That new baby came the instant you crossed the finish line. There's a new Johnson, Connor. How about that?
Obviously want to congratulate my little brother in Trinity. You know, I'm an uncle, I guess. So that's hard to believe, but I'm an uncle. So congratulations to them. It's also would be Randy Dorton's birthday today, and someone that we love and miss dearly. Great day for Hendrick Motorsports. Those Hendrick cars were so strong all day long, and at the end, I felt bad in some respects because Brian Vickers was right there on the edge of winning his very first Nextel Cup race, and I just had to get aggressive and get to the lead and win this for the Lowe's team.
Now, before this season started, you talked about patience and how important patience was in these restrictor plate races. You won the Daytona 500 with patience. How important was it this afternoon?
And there were so many times today that I just didn't block, didn't make a move, didn't do anything, and just got put in the middle 3 wide and slipped back and just dealt with it and fought my way back through. And at the end, it was interesting to see, you know, DJ and the 20, how much they were saving their stuff and how hard they pushed at the end. And DJ gave me a couple big pushes that helped me out. And I don't know who was pushing me when I got the lead, but I had a heck of a run and got inside the 25. And coming through 3 and 4, I was asking the crew how many more laps I had to go, and they said just bring it to the checkered flag.
Good deal. Congratulations. Well done. Let's go to Matty.
Tony Stewart finishes second for the 6th time here at Talladega. 2 laps to go. Take us through your game plan of what you were trying to do with the 25.
I don't even remember where I was at with 2 laps to go. I mean, normally the last 10 lap stretch like that, it gets pretty crazy. It's hard to remember where you're at with 2 laps to go, but just an awesome run for our Home Depot Monte Carlo SS. You know, kept that string alive of leading the lap in every race here under green, and you know, like you said, this is our 6th top 2 finish in 11 races, so I think our average is pretty strong here. We just, you know, can't get that little bit extra we need to win.
And real quick, the spin with Junior.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, who got him sideways up there, but, you know, he was sliding across the racetrack, and Mark Robertson, my spotter, was telling me to go high, and I stayed high and kept slowing down, and when I did see him, he was sliding back up across in front of us, and with the wheels locked up, I couldn't get it to turn down. So it wasn't really a big hit. Didn't really hurt a lot on, I don't think, either of our cars. So, you know, we were both fast at the end of the day like that.
Thanks, Smoke.
All right, buddy.
Steve?
Thanks, Matt, with Brian Vickers, who finished right behind Tony Stewart. And you haven't pulled off that first win yet, but you got awfully close today, Brian. What'd you learn?
Yeah, I learned a lot. You know, we missed the big wrecks. We passed at the right opportunities, and we blocked when we could. And, you know, Jimmy did an awesome job. But this GMAC crew did a tremendous job in the pits all day, consistent. We got out right where we left or better. Lance made some good calls, and it was a race to the finish. At these speedway races, it's tough. You know, you got a 50-50 shot when they're coming with the momentum to block high or block low, and missed it.
Brian, standing here right now, is there anything you could have done differently as you play those last couple laps back in your mind?
Well, you always think of something you could have done differently, you know, maybe not let them get so far back, but what happens is you try to back the car up, but then they get side by side and they just keep dropping back. So then they have a run when they catch you, and it's tough. You know, I wish I would have you know, pulled harder down to the bottom to try to block Jimmy, but you know, we could have wrecked too. So who knows? It was still a good points day for the GMAC crew.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Let's have a look at the Nextel Cup standings. Jimmy Johnson regains the point lead, up 21 on Matt Kenseth as we head for Short Track Saturday night at Richmond. Now here's Jeff Gordon in 3rd place, side by side with Vickers. Watch what happens.
It's just like you put a parachute out. You just start getting cars passing you left, right. There's nothing you can do.
No help, and finally he picks up Elliott Sadler, and what had been the 2 fastest lap leading his cars all day end up 15th and 16th.
Yep, that's amazing to me. Those were the 2 best cars, but they didn't get the very good finish.
Jimmy Johnson, patient, took his time, got there. How about Brian Vickers? Great race.
And, you know, 2 races in a row here. The Busch race on Saturday and also the race today. Not only would see Brian Vickers run a smart race in both races, but pretty amazed. Darrell talked about it a lot. The co-opetition between those Hendrick cars. Looked like maybe on qualifying day, Fords had their arms around them, but on race day, it was the Chevrolets.
Richmond, one of our favorite racetracks,
well,
coming
like
up this week.
Virginia's for lovers, but not next Saturday night, gang.
Final short track race of the first half.
And you'll see it on FX. Coming up next on FX, Dharma and Greg on the East Coast and Spin City on the West Coast. And coming up tonight over on Speed, the inductions at the International Motorsports Hall of Fame this weekend. Jack Roush, Janet Guthrie, Harry Gant honored. Dale Earnhardt among the class of 2006, and special awards to Tony Stewart, Frank Kimmel, and photographer T. Taylor Warren. Another wild one at Talladega. A 5-wide crash, 2 4-wide crashes, and another thrilling finish. Promotional consideration by at the finish, 21 cars on the lead lap. More than a dozen wound up in the garage.